Let me get my stuff together. All right. Get my microphone. All right. I'm going to wait a little bit so people can come on into the live. It's been a minute. But, wait, can y'all see me? Looks like I'm going in and out. I got my wine. I'm drinking Pinot Noir, Turning Leaf, an 05 Reserve. And it's really good. And it's really strong. I had to let it breathe for like 20 minutes. But, whew, I might not make it through this one glass. It's that strong. Just the fumes got me. But let me take a little swig first. Is that a gnat in here? Oh, hold on. I think a gnat got in here. I'm in my studio. Oh, no. There must have been a little bit of cork. All right. How is everybody doing? I've missed everyone. I have my wine. I have a little bowl of fruit. Let's chop it up. First off, I am streaming on my phone because my laptop was acting up. So y'all know I can never really see the comments on my chat. So I'll try to be mindful of that. Let me go back in there and okay, chat, all chats are visible. Okay, I shouldn't have any problems. Okay, guys, so you'll notice it's Friday, but it's not a Friday night hot topic. I am going to bring those back. I don't know when just yet. And the reason why I took it away, well, one, I'm changing some things with the channel, but two, I had enrolled in an herbology class. It was like almost 8 months long, weekends all day, and then one day during the week. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do YouTube as much and do the class. But the class fell through with the being able to meet with so many people, the class requirements, all of that. So I no longer have that obligation. So I can come back and start, hanging out with you guys, which I'm really excited about. So anyway, as you come into the room, put a like on the video and say hi so I can see somebody in the chat. Put a 1 in if you can hear me and see me good. And I can eat this pineapple. Hey, Jamila. Thank you, girl. So I am going to be bringing back those Friday night hot topics. Hey, Miranda. Thank you. I'm glad you guys can hear me and see me. So I was thinking, and you guys can throw out some suggestions. I know from like last month, you guys said you wanted to see more videos on natural living, mom stuff, woman stuff, just things that were not homeschool, which kind of brings me to one reason why I wanted to do this live tonight, because when I was thinking about the responses you guys made, almost all of the topics you wanted to hear about were not really related to homeschooling. And it got me thinking, thank you for the like, whoever put that like, thank you. It got me thinking, hey, love for all, that, well, for me, I know that I'm homeschooling all the time for so many years, and you just want a break from it. You're with your students all day, every day. And when you're done homeschooling, you want to be done homeschooling. So I'm thinking with those Friday night hot topics, we did pretty well. We would average 150 at the height, 200 people in the chat. You can always see them, but I can see them on the back end. And I think you guys just want to just not have to deal with homeschooling stuff, especially on a Friday. So I heard you guys, and I am going to be putting out more Friday night hot lives that aren't situated around homeschool, okay? I will still have some more homeschooling stuff. I think I'm going to keep that on Thursdays, my Thursday afternoon lives. And then Friday, well, I'll still let you guys vote, but I'm definitely going to be putting out more options for mommy stuff, for lady stuff, things like that, okay? So with that out the way, before I begin with my spiel, does anybody have any questions? Anything that's going on? Don't be shy, because you guys are always in my DMs asking me stuff. So, well, when you start thinking of some, just put it in the chat. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, because it's February, and happy Valentine's Day for those of you who celebrate it. I don't, and but happy Valentine's Day to you guys. But one thing I wanted to talk about is burnout in February. You know, the 2 months of a typical homeschool year, you start burning out in October. And that's usually when you've decided that the curriculum you're using is not working, and you don't know what else to do, and you're already exhausted like a month into homeschooling. February comes around and you've had this layoff, and then, you know, maybe you're decompressing from relatives and shopping and paying off bills, and maybe if you're in the north, it's cold and snowing and you can't get outside. So February tends to be one of those zombie zones for a lot of us. And so what I wanted to talk to you guys about was ways we can keep our morale up while we're going through those doldrums. And what one of you guys mentioned about it might have been Sean, the homeschooling guru. She talked about it's okay to take a break. Hold on, I have some comments coming up. Love for All says, unfortunately, I don't have a burnout because we've been struggling with homeschool, trying to catch up. So listen, so for a lot of people, trying to catch up is a burnout. Let me make sure I read that right. I don't have a burnout because we've been struggling with homeschool. Okay, so, but that's a different kind of burnout, because when you're struggling and you're spinning the wheels, you're gonna burn out, okay? So the one thing we want to do is, and I'm rereading this book. I got this book like, I think 10 years ago. Carol Dweck's Mindset. Y'all, I say this like every 15 videos. This book has changed my life. And for those of you who watch a lot of these mindful coaches or teachers like Evan Michaels, Lewis Howes, David Goggins, Brene Brown, all of these people who talk about Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, they talk about persevering through those hard times. All of them start with mindset. And it's really hard to know how to change that mindset, or to even know what kind of mindset you're in. And this book, you know what, should we do a book club? Because I'm always talking about this. This will help you guys out for a lot of things, not just for homeschool, but in your personal life, with school, work. Maybe we should do a book club on this, because I'm actually listening to the audiobook for this, just because I'm short on time and I have a stack of books that I'm reading. I'm also reading The Creature from Jekyll Island, because my kids and I are really getting into the finance world, and that's a top 10 book that everyone reads. The Creature from Jekyll Hyde and The Moneymakers, and that's a whole nother video. So this book is 2.5 hours audiobook, whereas the Creature from Jekyll Hyde is 24 hours. But you know what, I'll put a poll up. If you guys would like to have this book as our book club of the month for, let's say, March, that will give you a couple of weeks to get the book. I'll get a link on Amazon. Maybe we can get a discount or something like that. But we don't even have to do Amazon, because you know how I'm listening to this book? On YouTube for free. So just type in Mindset, Carol Dweck, and there are a couple of versions. Now, the version where she's talking, I don't like how she sounds. She's brilliant. I don't like her voice. So I was like looking around, like someone else had to have recorded this book, and someone did. And it sounds so much better. And after this live, I'll try to remember to leave a link for the version that I'm listening to. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes. And you just break it up, maybe 30 minutes a day. You can get through this. But we need to talk about this. Free, exactly. But if you want, a hard little copy in your hands, you can go to Amazon. I think it's like $12. It's a good book to have in your possession. But for right now, just do it for free. Let me catch up on these comments. Yes. Okay, you guys want to do a book club? Okay, wonderful. Miss Stuff says, what advice, tips would you give to us who are starting the homeschool journey? Kindergarten. Oh, mommy, I love that stage. Oh, yes. Y'all, we got to put our arms around Miss Steph. We got a new one. We got a new member in the tribe. So the first thing I would absolutely say about kindergarten, don't worry about curriculum. Don't worry about books. Don't worry about standards, most definitely. Don't worry about, don't compare your child to what other kids are doing. Remember, I'm assuming you want to homeschool, for at least a couple of years. I don't know if you're a COVID homeschooler. Let me know if you're a COVID homeschooler, because then my advice is going to be a little bit different. But if you're like genuinely wanting to homeschool for as long as you can, then I say all of those things, throw it out the window and go on a discovery, curiosity quest with your child. I don't know if the libraries are open in your area. If they aren't, then you go online and you kind of know what your kid likes. Are they interested in space, ponies, robots, dolphins, cowboys, princesses, whatever that is, and get as many read aloud books. Let me tell you something. When my youngest one was in kindergarten, he was fascinated with weather. Although in California, we don't have much weather, but I would get the weather on my weather app, and I always talk to my kids. So I would always talk about what I'm looking at. So my son would see the weather in other parts of the country, and he was jealous that he didn't really get to experience that. So I got him all kinds of books on weather. He was into tornadoes and hurricanes. So one day we were reading The Wizard of Oz. And in the beginning, there's a tornado. And he was like, Mom, we gotta learn everything about tornadoes. And I was like, yes, did you know there are tornadoes on the ocean, on the water? And then we went into a rabbit hole of every kind of weather on the planet and the different names for the same kind of weather. And that, I don't know how long that lasted, but when you're reading and depositing information and images and things into your child's mind, they know what they intrinsically take off with that, because that's the stage where they're asking why. They're a sponge. You just want to just keep giving them all those little tidbits of information. So for your kindergarten, I would sit down and write like 5 to 10 things that they're interested in, or that you think they might possibly be interested in. Try to find books on that. Try to find videos on YouTube. We're talking about free stuff. Try to find free videos on YouTube. Read. Watch lots of the videos that your child is interested in, and go on curiosity quest. Go outside into nature and build all kinds of little crafts and things that you can do. You don't have to have your child sitting down with worksheets and doing 5 + 5 or writing ABC. For handwriting, they can do their alphabets in a bowl, put some rice on a sheet pan, have them trace their alphabets in that, or in the dirt, or get some talcum powder. Well, watch out, because if it's not aluminum free, you don't want to be giving your kid cancer. But they can practice that, get some crayons, practice those fine motor skills, but having them just draw on the sidewalk. Get some butcher paper, tack it on the wall. A lot of times kids just want to stand up and do stuff. It's a novel thing to them. So just think out the box, not traditional stuff. Okay, this is the time where you're really going to start falling in love with your child's curiosity, but you have to expose them to lots of different subjects. So read. Watch National Geographic, Blue Planet, all of those great documentaries, most of all of them are on YouTube. And the ones that do charge, like National Geographic, it's like $1.99 to $2.99 an episode. But there is a way to get around that. But National Geographic didn't hear that from me. So go ahead and pay the $1.99 to $2.99. And if there's something your child really wants to see. But chances are you can find a similar version for free. So start with that. But don't put workbooks, textbooks, and stuff like that in front of them unless that's your thing and you just have to do that. Maybe one at most. But let that baby explore and play and develop all of those other skills. The writing and all that will come. All right, what else? Okay, you're not a COVID homeschooler. Great. So then what I said applies for kindergarten. They have plenty of time to learn the ABC. Well, usually they know their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s before they start kindergarten. But depending on where your child is, make everything tactile and kinesthetic. Even if your child is an introvert and they might not like sticky stuff, do something where you can involve as many senses as possible. Lots of little mini projects and crafts where it ties in the learning. At this age, unit studies are great. As a matter of fact, Boy Boss Mama, Heidi, I hope you're watching. Shout out, she's another YouTube homeschooler. Her channel is Boy Boss Mama, but I think she's changing the title to Boy Boss Homeschool Mama, but you can't go wrong with Boy Boss Mama. She has a space unit study that I think she's putting out soon, but go check her page for her other unit studies. I think Serena from Fall Co Kids, she has unit studies for the younger kids. Tori from the Oglesby Ohana, she has 2. As a matter of fact, she had a great mindful unit study. But her kids, she has a kinder, or at least she had one last year. She has a lot of great unit studies that you can look at and get some ideas from. And actually, wait a minute. I have unit studies. Look, my youngest child is in 4th grade, so a lot of stuff I've forgotten, but I still have everything in a large file cabinet. We did a unit study. Oh my God, it was the best unit study. We did one on dinosaurs. If y'all remind me in the comment sections after this to dig that up. I don't know if I have video. I might have little snippets, but I have lots of pictures. I have a dinosaur unit study. I have an ocean unit study. I have landforms. I had a whole bunch of stuff. But those are really great ways to teach your child reading, writing, science, math, all of that. So I hope that helps you out, love. And welcome to the world of homeschooling. A lot of these moms on here, some of them have channels. I'll try to shout them out, those that do. Definitely check them out because there's a lot of good content out there that's free and that's really engaging. Oh, I got a shine on my face. Let's see. Samantha from Pray Love Homeschool. Hey, girl. Black Queen Genius. Girl, I saw your comments today. You're hilarious. Unit studies for little ones are lots of fun. I did unit studies based on the Magic Treehouse series. Listen. Hold on. Let me go on my laptop right now. Okay. What Black Queen Genius said is so true. We did a unit study. We did almost a year-long unit study on the Magic Treehouse. I think with my middle child, when he was in 1st grade, we started reading the Magic Treehouse series. And I want to pull this up. And this is what I used. If I can, come on! I told you my laptop was giving me issues. Come on. So while that pulls up, and how I use the Magic Treehouse series. Remember, I love to teach geography because through geography, you can teach so many other parts of so many other subjects. So with the Magic Treehouse, we had a big timeline, which I still have, and we're using today with Story of the World. We have a large timeline, and for every book you know what? Hey, okay, y'all, can I go get the books? I want to show you how to use it, okay? Do y'all mind? Put a 1 in the chat. I'm just gonna run to my son's room because if you decide to do the Magic Treehouse, I have a wonderful packet for you, and then I have there are trackers, and Black Queen, you probably know about this. There are trackers that go with a lot of the books. It gives you a little bit more background and history, and just it furthers the learning. I think they are fabulous. Okay, so guys, if you're okay, it will take me like 15 seconds because I organized their bookcases like last week and they haven't had a chance to mess it up. So I know exactly where to go. Give me 10 seconds, 15 seconds to run and get it. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, hold on. Talk amongst yourself. Here. I was going to try to give you something to look at. Oh, whatever. I'm coming. All right. I had to grab the baggie back from my kid who tried to nab it. I knew something was missing with our breaking bread. Okay, hold on. Let me close that door because we have neighbors whose dogs yap. Okay. So, the Magic Tree House. Now, I just grabbed just a handful, but I have like 80 of these books. So, you have Twisters. So, and I don't have the books lined up, so I know it's like Twister at something. I don't know if I have the book with me. Oh, Twister on Tuesday. So you're reading the book, Twister on Tuesday. And then if you want to get more stories and information, then you come to the back. And it says, can y'all read that? When Annie and Jack have more questions about Twisters, they go here. I don't know if you can read that. But it's just like a little informational kind of thing. But it has real pictures. Talks about storm surges. So, and this is one reason why I like the Magic Treehouse series. You can use this from kinder to like 5th grade because you have the Merlin series. This is great for doing book reports when your child gets older, and it's also great for doing a timeline and going through the different periods of history and being introduced to major characters from that time period, and then putting those characters on a timeline. So if you're into timelines, I know a lot of people do timelines in history. That's something pretty good to do. So these are fabulous. That's Twisters. You have, okay, you'll see those? China. That's not one. Get out of there. Dolphins and sharks. My son loved that one. What is that one? Tsunamis and other natural disasters. Polar bears in the Arctic. And it goes on. So you have I'll just show you another one. You have so many options. Daily life in China. What else? The Chinese New Year. That was what, yesterday? So, so it's just a nice little bite-size, book of information. It just goes a little bit deeper with the story that the child was reading. So for kindergarten, girl, you could spend a whole year going around the world and not touch a worksheet or anything like that. And then you can build math in. So lots of things you can do with that. All right, let me catch up with some of these comments. Let's see. So thank you, Black Queen, for bringing that up because that's a good series. let's see, Tiff says, my son has autism and we've been homeschooling since he turned 7. He's 11 now, struggling with reading and spelling. His speech delay doesn't help. Any advice or encouragement? So you guys know that my middle son, who is now 12, is on the spectrum, and he had struggles, not with spelling, but because he was a late talker or delayed talker, he didn't read until a little bit later, and at least compared to his older brother. And you never want to compare your siblings, but he just didn't really talk, so he really didn't read. But in his head, he was reading, but just he didn't have that expressive language. And it wasn't so much the verbal part of reading, it was the reading comprehension, because the working memory with some kids on the spectrum, working memory and processing speeds are low and slow respectively. So the working memory is how much information can they hold at a time, and then the processing speed is if someone is talking to them, how much can they how fast can they keep up with the conversation, essentially. How if a person said a paragraph worth of words, do they process just the first 2 sentences of, like, say, 5 of a paragraph? So and one of the things that we did to work on getting the working memory to expand so he could hold more information, and then to make his processing speed go faster. So when he was starting to expand and being able to hold more information, he can now, more information. That means your processing speed has to be a little bit faster. Once we got those two aligned, he took off. He's my best reader in the house, and this is what worked for me. Okay, now your child is 11. Girl, don't worry about spelling right now. Do not. Spelling is hard. I missed one question on my SAT verbal. I never had any training, no boot camps, coaching. My parents didn't believe in any of that. I just read a lot. Spelling was even hard for me because there were so many rules, so many things. I mastered it, but spelling is, I know a gentle way to help get your child into spelling. So remind me about that. But for the reading, so what worked for us was, if you're just talking about, hold on, I think you said, let me make sure there weren't any other issues like dyslexia or anything like that. Wait, did you say dyslexia? Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, he's struggling. Okay, speech delay. So I see it's just the speech delay. Okay, so if it's just the speech delay, it doesn't mean he has problems with reading. The expressive part of trying to maybe read it out loud is one thing, but his receptive, what he's taken in, might be just fine. But to you, it looks like he's struggling because he has that speech delay, and he can't, when he's physically reading, he can't like really get it out. So he's stumbling over words. But in his mind, he might be able to read at a regular pace. But even still, if you don't know, what worked for us was, and sometimes it's the smallest things you don't even think about. Getting books that, let's see if I have some over here, with large font, and just to test to see if he's having problems with his eyes. I know for some people who struggle with reading, when they switch to the Barton, I always forget how to say the last name. Oh, Gillihan, I forget because I used it. Students that have problems with seeing, that helped him out a lot. But if it's only just the speech delay, just let him find a book that he really, really, really likes, or a magazine like for kids. It doesn't have to be a book per se. It could be little snippets, Mad Libs. What else are kids into? Just little snippets of reading where it's not a lot to take in, but and it's something that's really fun for them to read. And that's with autism. You just keep doing it and doing it, even when you don't see any progress. But the whole thing is to make it fun so he doesn't want to quit. And you can make it as simple as, if you want to read the Magic Tree House. Maybe he's into the Magic Tree House. And honey, just reading the first page like this would take him 20 minutes. All right, real talk. Well, you two take turns reading. You might have to alternate word. He does a word, you do a word. You do a sentence, he does a sentence. You do a line, he does a line. As slow and microscopic as possible. It don't matter. You just want to foster a positive experience with reading, okay? I'd rather have a child who wants to learn, who can't really get it, but wants to learn, than a child who's super smart and it's like blasé. I'd rather have that child. And so you make it very positive, okay? And any type of little struggle, you know, you pull back. Okay, I think we're good for today. You know, you read like 5 words yesterday. Now you're up to 6 words. That's how slow I'm talking about, okay? And don't talk to anybody. Don't tell them what you're doing. That's between you and your son. You guys, it might take you a semester to get through this book. But if he likes this story and he likes that book, then you want to finish that book. So that's just one way. Another thing that helped me out with my son with reading, and I didn't start this until he was a little older. I think, was he in the end of 2nd grade? It was all about reading. And it's, you know, it's not super teacher intensive, but you're going to have to be present and sometimes do some pre-work before. Oh, okay, guys, I got to do a video on all about reading because I have all those books downstairs, the readers, the workbook, all of that. With all about reading, I have found that children who struggle with reading, if there's no impediment, no physical impediment, sometimes they're not very solid in phonics. And that can trip you up. That tripped up my youngest son, who I thought was good with phonics. And then when I realized he wasn't, I got him onto All About Spelling, which is a phonics-based spelling program. So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. His reading confidence skyrocketed, and he was no longer afraid to he wasn't scared of big words. So for your son, I would start with All About Reading, leave All About Spelling alone, but start with All About Reading. It's so incremental. It really works on your child. I think they teach 75 phonic sounds. I want to say, if I recall correctly, it's been a couple of years. And it's so slow. The stories, there are lots of stories. The stories are very manageable, and they're really interesting. And that's a nice way to see in an instant what kind of words your child is stumbling over. You might see that there's certain words, maybe EE words or EA words or OU words. You'll see that eventually when he's reading, you'll start to see, is it the sound, certain sound combinations that he's having issues with, or is it just maybe the blend, or is it just a confidence thing? Because children who do have speech delays, a lot of them are very conscious of it, and so just you got the anxiousness, and so they just trip up on words. So build that confidence up first. Look up All About Reading. I would go to the Well Trained Mind forum and type in All About Reading and read the great reviews on there. A lot of great reviews, okay? And I need to, I have all of my stuff from when my kids were younger, especially my middle son, with all the therapies. And I know with the speech, it was very incremental, and they worked a lot on not just sounds, but, okay, I know I'm all over the place. The working memory, okay, and then the processing speed. So for the working memory, something that's free and easy you can do like today is memory games. Remember back in the day, for all my old heads, you had the memory games where you have to flip over 2 cards and the picture has to match, and if it doesn't match, you flip the cards back, and then over the course of the game you start kind of memorizing where those cards are. That's your working memory. That's holding information, okay? And when you start doing it, you might only remember what card is here, this corner, and what card is here. If you have, like, say, a row, a row, a row. You know what card is here, what card is here. And then as you increase your working memory, you start to know where more is, okay? And then as your processing speed is increasing, it doesn't take you like 5 seconds to remember, okay, that card was there, that one was there. Now you're like, here, 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 here. See, that's your speed, okay? So we want to attack without knowing more information. We want to attack it from the speed, the working memory, if there are issues with phonics that need to be like, solidify. So we'll just attack it from every different angle and go from there. But All About Reading will definitely help you out. All right, let me catch up with some of these comments. Okay. I'm in the process of, wait, hold on. A unit studies based on the Magic School Bus book series. Okay, I'm not sure what you were saying, Black Queen, if you have unit studies on that. Samantha says, I'm in the process of writing a unit study for the Imagination Station series. Oh, cool. But it takes a bit to write, so I don't have a date yet. So, Samantha from Pray Love Homeschool, when you get that Imagination Station series, that unit study done, let's go. You know what? I need to start bringing guests on. I want you to come on and I want you to show everybody your unit study. Guys, go follow Samantha Pray Love Homeschool. That's her IG, and that's also her YouTube channel. That's another homeschool mom to look out for. Okay, she has special needs kids. So for those of you who have kids that have special needs, you want to build a little list of go-to moms who do have kids, hopefully with similar conditions that your child has, but at least just kids, moms who understand, or dads that understand that world, and then follow them. And if they talk about that, visit their page or their account regularly and see what kind of gems they're dropping, their struggles and all of that. Lord knows I had some struggles. I still have struggles. Let's see. I'll have to get some of those fact trackers. Go to eBay. There were so many parents who, for whatever reason, they bought the whole series, probably from a fundraiser from public school, which is what I did with my oldest one. And they're just unloading them. You can probably get like 10 of them for like $5 and $2 shipping. So definitely check eBay first. Okay, let's see. All About Reading and All About Spelling have helped my dyslexic children so much this year. I would definitely check it out. Guys, listen, Pray Love Homeschool, that's Samantha, she has kids on the spectrum. I have a son on the spectrum. And when I was at a charter homeschool, we had a lot of kids, special needs kids. All About Reading is a big hit. As a matter of fact, the reading specialists at the school use All About Reading. Okay, so it's a really, and I don't know, a lot of special needs teachers use it. And I don't know if All About Reading presented themselves as a special needs kind of curriculum. I never saw that anywhere, but it's a great, that's a solid program. You can't go wrong, okay? It can be a little bit pricey, so I would head on over to eBay and try to cop, as many of the books as you can. There are a number of books that you're going to need, and but it's worth it, okay? Let's see here. You can start at level 1, even though it's younger, to fill in the gaps and work your way forward. Yes, listen. I tell the story with writing and rhetoric. When I found the perfect writing program for my kids, I started my son at, I think at level 3. I forget what level, but my other children I started them at level 1. I was so impressed with the curriculum, especially with my younger two. I yanked that book from my oldest son and I was like, child, we're going to level 1. But he was cool with it. I just like, we're going to run through this and let's see how fast you can pass your brothers. It was that good. So don't be afraid to make that curriculum work for you. I always work a level above or a level below, or levels above or levels below what the book is, okay, for my kids, because one child is below level in one subject, one child is above level in another subject, or one level has more to it and it builds a better foundation. So I would rather start there, fill in those gaps, make that foundation strong. It'll just take a little bit longer, but you're going to get to the end eventually. So why not get to the end being solid with your knowledge? All right, let's see. You might be surprised how fast he goes through it once you get the technique down. Yes, and there is a technique. And that's the thing about All About Learning Press. They do all about reading, all about spelling, etc. Sometimes parents, it can be, and I wouldn't say teacher intensive. It's just there's prep work and you do sit with them and do the work. But once you get into it, that was why I stopped using All About Spelling. Check out, I did a past video on a curriculum, hits or misses. I stopped using it because I was unorganized. And so I thought it was teacher intensive because I wasn't organized. I didn't have a system. But when I brought it back and I really looked at how to put it together, I looked at videos of moms and dads who put it together, I was like, oh, it's really only 4 steps, really 3 once I get it down. And that's one of my son's favorite subjects to do. When I say pick any subject to start with, All About Spelling. We got a system, and I have a little video snippet. This is the child that doesn't like me to film, but I have a little snippet of what it looks like. But I'm going to pay him and do a whole lesson so you guys can see. I have 4 little steps, and once you get those down, you're good to go for the whole series. All right, let's see. Give me some more questions and comments. Easy Peasy Reading is $9 on Amazon as well. Might help to build confidence. Yeah, I've heard good things about Easy Peasy, but it's not. I thought Easy Peasy was free. I thought their stuff was free. Are they selling it now, or am I mistaking that for something else? Wish you would do a video on improving processing speed. I haven't heard anything like that before. You know what? Let me see. I got to do better. I need to just keep my notepad with me so I can write this stuff down. Okay, Lord knows, 10 years with therapies, I need to be sharing this stuff so you guys don't have to pay. Processing speed, videos, memory. You know, a lot of homeschoolers do, processing speed, video, and working memory. Okay. A lot of homeschoolers, normally classical homeschoolers, and I think Charlotte Mason, but it don't matter. They do memory work. Now, I used to do memory work, and it's kind of one of the subjects that has fallen to the wayside. I'm very sporadic with it. I got to do better with that. That and logic and Spanish. You know what? I need to do a video on the subjects that get neglected. Subjects that get neglected. And I'm just going to make these lives, guys, because I already have a lot of videos that I have to upload to YouTube. But if I go live, then I can put out, I would go live every day if you guys would come on in. I'm serious. I would just go live and just talk and just add a thumbnail later and put it on YouTube. Let's see here. Muna, hello. Muna, you must think I am the most full of ish girl. I'm supposed to be calling you. I keep forgetting. I will not forget. I'm gonna call you tomorrow, okay? Let's talk tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow is Saturday. Hold on. I'm writing it right now. ASAP. I'm calling you, baby. Wait, can y'all see that? My chicken scratch. I'm putting that on my mirror with my other notes. All right, I got you. All right, let me see what else. Hello, Essence. Okay, I feel like I want to teach my son everything. Girl, I know. Don't do it. You're going to get stressed out. I literally have 5 math curriculums for 1 kiddo. Girl, join the club. I got 8. So you're right up there. You are a curriculum hopper and addict. Just so you know, I don't want you to be in denial. Did you have that problem? How did you pace yourself? Okay. Right. Last year or the year before, maybe 2 years ago, I used 2 full year curricula in math. I use Beast Academy and Singapore Math, okay? And I'm supposed to be doing a video on how I did both. I do have a video comparing the two. I just have to shoot the one where I show you how I use both. Maybe I should just do that live. That way I could get it out faster to you. The second one right now we're doing is grammar. It's Michael Clay Thompson's. My middle one is Grammar Town, and the youngest one is finishing up Grammar Island. And then we're using well-ordered language. And so here's the thing: when you want to, do a gumbo mix of curriculum, or I know it's curricula, but we are programmed to say curriculum, and that's what I'm going to say. So don't put it's curricula. I don't care. So what I did, I had very specific reasons for using two. Now, for Beast Academy, my sons would always read the comic book or the guidebook, but we didn't do the practice book. We used Singapore Math. So whenever we went to a new topic in Singapore Math, say we started on fractions, I would go get the guidebook and I would have him read. Well, he just liked to read from front to back, but he can do that. But when it came time for fractions, I pointed him toward the section on fractions, and he read that. And then we had Beast Academy online, and he can do some exercises on that, which, he kind of didn't like because he didn't really know the Beast way of doing things. But he still was able to, plug through. But Singapore was the spine. Beast Academy was the supplement. Then we switched full-time to Beast Academy. Now he wants to go back to Singapore. But that's how you can do things. You can use one as a supplement and the other as your main text. Now for grammar, I love Michael Clay Thompson, but like for the textbook, if you will, you have to read it all before you start the exercises, which is all fine. But I wanted, I still want to, you do a lot of sentence diagramming. I wanted something else, especially for my middle son who's on the spectrum. I don't think he's going to be real keen on diagramming. So I wanted to give him other ways of displaying his knowledge of grammar since he was working hard to acquire it. So that was why I used the well-ordered language. So we would just go and it's very repetitive, which is good for kids on the spectrum, very repetitive. And your kids are going to learn those concepts because it's over and over and over again. So that's how I use both. So we read through Michael Clay Thompson, and then for the exercises, we dipped into the well-ordered language. Now, why I did that? My approach to homeschooling is a whole picture to parts. So I like my children to have a story so they can kind of understand why they're doing this. The why is what gets the buy-in from them. If they know why this is this, why it's done like that, then they're more apt to do the work. So the story part, y'all know I like story-based curriculum. So the story part of Michael Clay Thompson was perfect. And then for the application, we went into the well-ordered language, okay? As you can see, with Beast Academy, storybook approach, and then Singapore Math, the application. So that's kind of like how I use when I mix curriculum. I'm looking for a story and then the application, because a lot of times you don't get both. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Let's see, what else? So did I answer your question, stuff? How do you pace yourself? So depending on whether you homeschool the whole year or, hold on, y'all. I haven't had a swig of this. Hold on. You guys take a sip too, whether it's water, wine, gasoline, whatever. So, wait, what was I saying? I promise that wasn't from the wine. Wait, what'd you ask me, Steph? Oh, pacing. So for pacing, if you're doing math, look at how many, look at the chat. What curriculum are you using for math? Because I could nuance that answer. But just in general, look at the chapter, look at the unit, okay? And then look at the chapters involved, okay? And then So say if you're doing a unit on fractions, and within that unit, you have 4 chapters: equivalent fractions, comparing fractions, subtracting fractions, adding fractions. Okay, so 4 chapters in that unit. Okay, and each chapter is like 10 pages long. That's 40 pages. I'm just exaggerating, but 10 pages long. Okay, and typically, well, I shouldn't say typically. So for each chapter with all of those pages, I would look at, okay, let's get through one chapter and see how it goes. Okay, you might find that some parts your child can fly through, other parts not, or maybe it's certain parts within that chapter that maybe it's the word problem part in the chapter that slows your child down. So in each chapter there maybe 2 parts in that chapter, and one day is the day that takes forever, or the next day you have lots of problems on that day or something like that. So just look at the first chapter to see how you guys do. Get a little benchmark, okay? Don't worry about the whole pacing thing. Just get a little benchmark, okay? And then once you see how you do with that one chapter, okay, then look at, okay, well, now I have 4 for this unit that might take us a month to get through, okay? And then decide, okay, if I have a 5-day homeschool week, then we can do, if it's 10 pages, we can do 2 pages a day, or some days might be 3, some days might be 1, some days might be a half page, okay, with tiers. So you kind of get a gauge where, okay, we can kind of average maybe 2 days. I think his stamina is enough to do that. And so that will give us a pace of finishing the unit in a month, okay? And maybe there are 6 units in the year. So you do 3 units one semester, 3 the next semester. So you can play around with it like that. But don't get caught up on the pacing too much. You can just give yourself an idea based on the structure of the book. And then you can just decide, hey, we can sit on this for a whole 2 weeks, and we can sit on this subject, 1 week, okay? Because unit to unit or chapter to chapter, it might be super hard, super easy. So you just never really know. But if you have to finish within a school year, if you have reporting, things like that, then you'll just back engineer 36 weeks divided by however many chapters there are, and then factor in the breaks that you take. And then you kind of have an idea how far you can get, every month or so, something like that. All right, let's see here. Oh, y'all really talking today. All right. Okay. Y'all, remind me never to go live on my phone. I have to keep scrolling and my screen is cracked. Okay. I feel like, okay, read that one. Okay. I had that problem when I started out. Now I'm using Matthew C as my base and doing fun Fridays with Apologia Math. It's Apologia, right? Or Apologia? I think it's Apologia. I always want to say Apologia because I want to say Apollonia. Fridays with Apologia Math for my younger 2. You see, so you can mix things up, okay? You might find that the other curriculum that you're using, you might use on one day. So that's totally fine. And that's the beauty with homeschooling. You can make it look like however you want it to look like. Let's see. Homeschooling. Hey, Essence, homeschooling can be challenging. Yeah, I know. I feel you. I always feel like I am behind because I feel that if my kids were in school, they would be doing more. Here's the thing. Let me tell you about that. Because someone, one of you guys mentioned that your child, went back to public school and your child was behind in some of the basic skills. It's not so much your child is behind in basic skills. It's that things are taught differently in the public school sector. Just looking at the questions, you can have a basic question. It could be an addition. Have you looked at the questions in some of these public school textbooks? Something that would be very basic, like adding, is so convoluted, the child really doesn't know what the question is asking. And because a lot of homeschoolers, they're not taught how to interpret the question stem, okay? Especially in testing. But they know it, but they don't know how to answer it based on how it's being asked. But if you were put like this, if you were to take a child in public school and give them some homeschool curriculum, they would probably be confused on what to do because they're learning a common core way. So the questions are asked differently, words mean different things, and so they might not know that, they have to draw, do an equation, jumping jacks, all of that stuff. So you need to give your child time to acclimate. Whether you're going from public to homeschool or reverse, you have to give your child time to acclimate, because the teaching and the questioning is very different. And if your child is not allowed to reach an answer on his own, her own, they're going to struggle. If they're in a box with how they can only answer, then they're going to have to learn how to answer their way. Okay, that's one reason why I took my child out of public school in second grade. He had been doing math competitions since first grade, and so he was so used to crazy word problems and questions. He had questions that were like, what is the quadrant of the fourth rectangle that is in alignment with the child? I mean, some high level, crazy complex questions. But with math, because math is supposed to be logical, you're supposed to be able to take those pieces and put them together to arrive at a product or an answer. But when you get into the public school, you'll see that it's abstract. They're abstract questions, especially in math. So that throws kids off. That's a whole nother subject. So don't worry about your child. If they expect your child to struggle when they get into the public school, okay? You're going to have to learn that common core way. And let me tell you, a lot of the teachers don't know the common core. Common core came in 2011. My son was in kinder. Before that, it was No Child Left Behind, a totally different way of learning. Before that, it was Goals 2000, a totally different way of learning. So I'm like, look, at the turn of the century, the last century, the early 1900s, definitely in the 1800s, if you look at the work of the children in the school books, those children were light. They were college level. I'm not kidding. With how they wrote, they did it in cursive, the computations they were doing, and they had like one book. It was a one-room schoolroom, and they were light years ahead of us. So we do too much and try to complicate everything. Keep it simple. But if you have to put your child back in public school, just talk to your child, let them know, and then you talk to that teacher, because sometimes that teacher's mindset is fixed and they only want this, this, and this because the district says we want this, this, and this. But if your child can get the answer in that child's way, then get out the way of the child. So just know what you're getting into when you go back to public school. But you can do it, but you're going to have to be really involved so your child's psyche is not crushed, or confidence, I should say. All right, what do we got here? Y'all keep asking questions. I can't even get a bite of my pineapple. California affidavit, is that a smooth process? Yes, it is, Jamila. Okay, so I don't know how many California homeschoolers I have on here, but when you're in the states of California, if you want to homeschool, you have three options. That is, you can go with a charter homeschool, which I've done and I'm doing now. You can go as a PSA, which is a private school affidavit that you file, which I have done. And by the way, you don't have to do it October 15th. You can do it any time of the year. October 15th is just bookkeeping for the states of California. And then you have a PSP, which is like an umbrella. So you might, maybe your church is a meeting place and people go there and they homeschool, and the church files all the paperwork and everything, and you turn in like work to the church, like the school within the church, or any school that acts as an umbrella for a whole bunch of homeschoolers. Okay. And then they have their little rules and things like that. I never did that third option, but the process is super, super easy. The only thing that I advise is you don't want your private information out there. So when you're a PSA, a private school affidavit, if you're filing that, you are, in California, there are no homeschoolers. You are a private school. You're either a public school or you're a private school or you're associated with a private school. So as a private school, you have to list your address and stuff. So you can go ahead and, you know, you put down what you need, okay? But it's super easy. It's just one little form or thing you fill out, and you file that. And then if your child is currently in public school, you just go to the school, let them know, you know, you're withdrawing, fill out their paperwork, and then that's basically it. But I can do a more in-depth video. I've been thinking of doing a homeschool one-on-one, California, and then a basic homeschool one-on-one. That's general, that people from other states can follow with direction coming from the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, hslda.org, because they have laws specific to each state. That's a wonderful site to belong to. But yes, it is really easy. It's super easy. Let's see. All right, let's see. Each child is their own person and they learn at their own pace. Trust the process and understand that there is no behind. Yes, that's Samantha's replying to Essence. And that trips up a lot of homeschoolers. That trips up parents, period. You just can't help but compare and feeling you're behind. Like, we as parents feel like we're behind. Like, oh, I'm behind in, you know, getting my taxes done. I'm behind in getting dinner. I'm behind in laundry. We're always playing that catch up. And, you know, it's no different, you know, than applying that to our children. But if we change our mindset and think long term, you kind of lose that urgency that you need to catch up and you need to double up on work and work on the weekends because you're trying to catch up to what, okay? So again, if you are like a COVID homeschooler and you're going back to public school, well, actually, it's not even an issue because the learning online is like so crazy. So you can really afford to take your time. With my middle son, when he was in 4th grade, we spent a whole semester on fractions because I know that's the biggest pothole in middle school going forward. So 4 months, we would have spent a whole year. I didn't care. He wasn't going for it until he has some kind of mastery. And so long as he did, you know, and he didn't. Now I would throw in some other things just as a little break, but we worked on fractions every week. And that was really important because I know how it is to fall in that spiral of being behind in math. And being behind is really, you're not having that foundation. So going forward in math without that foundation is a house of cards, okay? So yeah, don't worry about the behind game. Let's see, what else? We have, I don't know why it doesn't just stop at where my comment is. I have to keep scrolling. Okay, so if they were in the public school, they would still be behind because they learn when they are ready, not when you teach it to them necessarily. Amen. Let's see. I like the Grammar Town and Grammar Island. Yes, I like Grammar Town and Grammar Island. And for those of you that are interested in Michael Clay Thompson, it's billed as a program for gifted children. I'm sorry, y'all. I was talking to the light. That's the wine. Was that the wine? I only had 2 sips. With Michael Clay Thompson, it's billed as a program for gifted kids. That's just code for critical thinking, analytical thinking. You know, it's going to take more time to devote to teaching this, and because teachers in public schools don't have that much time, you know, the gifted program in these schools, which my son did, the gifted programs, actually he didn't do because I had the teacher who was teaching the gifted program, I was giving her the material to teach her gifted kids, and it was everything from the critical thinking company. Y'all don't be fooled by these gifted programs at these public schools. I know where they get their stuff from, and the stuff that you guys probably use. No, Michael Clay Thompson, what was I saying? The gifted program. It just means it's going to be a little bit challenging, but it's just going to involve a little bit more work and time and patience on your end, because being able to think critically and using those higher order thinking skills, off of Bloom's taxonomy, being able to use those higher order thinking skills, it requires time and patience. It just takes time to develop that. And so gifted isn't really like your child is smart. It's like, do you have time to sit with your child and teach that? Okay. That's a luxury for a lot of people. Let's see here. I have, hold on. I just skipped a whole bunch. I just saw Beowulf. I like Beowulf. Okay, here we go. We do Fix It Grammar. I used Fix It Grammar. I forget who it's by. And I printed it out and bound it with my middle son. Remember I was telling you about what was a grammar spelling? Because I like the fact that you would take a sentence or a paragraph and you would work the grammar from that, and you would like highlight it and then you would write it. I really like that. I don't know why I stopped using it. I actually like the program. Child, I do not need to resurrect any more grammar, but I might just look at it and see. Maybe like next year. I don't know. But yeah, I did like Fix It Grammar. I like it wasn't just, your basic kind of learning grammar, just the rules and the memorizing. They use sentences and a story, like excerpts. So I really like that. So I need to bring that back in. Who said they used that? Hold on, I need to write that down. I don't need to write it down, but I have like 10 Fix It Grammar curricula. Okay, let me see. Because you never know what your child's going to like. A lot of things I get from the used book sale. And we have a homeschool consignment shop or something like that. Okay, let's see. Beowulf grammar is good for younger children, but honestly, you don't need to teach grammar until 5th grade or above. Here. I used to be a reader and grader. Well, not grader. I used to grade essays for 3M's high school. 3M had I don't know if they still do it, but 3M, they had this huge competition back in the 90s where they gave out a lot of money and you had to submit these essays, and I was a judge and I would read I was like the second round. So you had to submit your essays. And you can tell the ones whose mamas and dads did their essays. And then also when I worked at Columbia University in New York City, that's an Ivy League, I worked in the graduate program, and second round, I read and passed on, we have this checklist of things that we looked for, and I would, and we didn't really have that many because it was graduate school, but I read the essays of these amazing colleagues, and it's like, amazing students. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're only accepting 10 people and like 5,000 applied. But I would see these people with Ivy League undergrad degrees and things like that, and they're spelling. I'm like, spell check, really? When I studied abroad in Paris, I went to the Sorbonne, and they did not use computers. They refused to use computers. And so everything had to be handwritten. And I would never forget, our teacher, she was English, she was British. And she failed everybody in that class except for me. And I knew she probably wanted to. Because I was American. She didn't really care for Americans. But I was like, baby, I know my stuff. I could teach this class. The grammar, people would spell does repeatedly, DOSE, like a dose. And I was seeing this, like basic words you read all the time over and over. People just could not spell. They're on spell check all the time. And it is atrocious. So, and you can learn the basics of grammar like in a fairly short time, to where you sound or you write, adequately. So if you want to ease grammar in, I typically like to start grammar and spelling after 3rd grade. third grade, you know, the writing, that's a lot of developmental issues going on. Not issues, but a lot of developmental pairings going on, and especially with reading. So once they get a good foundation in that, like they're in fourth grade or maybe in fifth grade, you know, then you can start easing that in. But because I use a story-based approach to grammar, I'm fine with teaching earlier if need be, because now you're doing the story and it's very simple. And so you have a year or two to let the simpleness of it just soak in before you start adding all of the exceptions and the rules and the weird, you know, concoctions and connotations and all that kind of stuff. So Beowulf, I've heard good things about Beowulf as well. And if you guys don't know, it's Guest Hollow. I don't know if it's .org or .com. They have a lot of great curriculum. A lot of it is free. I've used their science curriculum, the junior anatomy, and I think that was it. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, if you want to start grammar early, I recommend a story-based approach. Definitely. Let's see. My sixth grader didn't understand grammar until this year with analytical grammar. Yes, I've heard of that. But now he understands it. We also use Brave Writer arrows to cement and make it fun. Yeah, man. I love Julie Bogart's writing program. When I first started homeschooling with my oldest son, we used her Brave Writer. We used the what's her main one? You have the poetry teas. You have do I have it nearby? It was like I just know we had the poetry the trees, and we did a lot of projects. It was like project-based writing, if you will. I forget which part it was. It wasn't arrows yet. But I forget what it's the main one. But yeah, I love Brave Writer. If you have the time, then it's definitely worth it. That one is, to me, teacher intensive. But in the beginning, I was only homeschooling one child at the time because my oldest one was in second grade, my middle son was in kinder, and my youngest was in preschool. So I was running back and forth, half day kindergarten, and then the preschool on the other side of town. And then but I managed to get through with it, but it was really fun. I really like Julie Bogart's the Brave Writer writing program. Let's see, what else? How long have you been on here? 71 minutes. What is that, an hour and 12 minutes? All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Thank you, guys. I have a 6, 9, and 11-year-old, and I feel like it's either the day is too long or not enough. I'm curious how many subjects are normal. Like, do they really need science and history daily? That depends on you. Wait, who was that? Was that Tiffany or Steph? Tiffany. That depends on you. What's important to you? And what are your kids really into? If your kid, like, I just switched our history curriculum from Bookshark, which is way too many books, which cut into our novel unit studies. So I love Bookshark, but it was way too much reading. So I wanted something that had a reading but wasn't overpowering the other subjects. So we switched. We went back to Story of the World, and we started doing a block schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays, my combined learning, science and history. And my kids loved it. You know, if you saw my video, I just posted our day in the life. I know it was a hot mess, but they had been playing this periodic game for like 40 minutes. And then I came in with the camera and they were kind of like over it. But, you know, my son was trying to like recreate the fun they had like the week before, because they had such a great time trying to like discover all these elements and stuff. But anyway, but because my kids loved it and they had a lot of fun, I said, well, you know what, let's add in a couple more days. So in terms of how many subjects do you do a day, think about what your needs are. Does your child have any weaknesses that he or she needs to work on? Okay. If they have any weaknesses, that needs to be touched on every day. Okay. If possible, every day. If you have a child that has any learning issues, there are subjects that they can't afford to miss. Maybe like earlier, someone was talking about their child having problems with reading. You want to make sure you hit that every day. You don't want gaps, because it's always, you don't want gaps in learning, because it's always harder to jump back in when you've been off a day or two or something like that. So find out what what they really, really like, if there are any learning issues, and if there are weaknesses. Okay, once you answer those questions, then you can make the list of the subjects that need to be taught basically daily. Okay, and then you have your would like to, but not a deal breaker subject. And for some, that's usually science and history, the social sciences. Most people want to hit the 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. Okay, and they feel like if I hit those basics, anything else is gravy. So I would start there. But if your children have something they really, really, really like, I would break it up. So I would do the things that they need to get done, like the stuff they might need they're struggling in, that they need to really keep going. They can't take breaks from that. I would do that in the morning, and with the incentive that, hey, once we're done with this, we have our fun subjects, or the easy subjects, after lunch or after recess or later on in the day. But I don't look at it as, because our days just fluctuate. Like, we'll have days where we're going until 5 and we started at 9, just because I put in a documentary, or my son really liked what we were doing, like in All About Spelling. Sometimes he wants to do 2 or 3 lessons in a sitting. So instead of a 10 or 15-minute lesson, it could be, a 35-minute lesson or even longer. So so go with that ebb and flow. Monday might be one of those short days where you guys blast through everything and you might hit a lot of different subjects. Tuesday might be, oh, we only did 2 and it was a hard 2. Take that, and tomorrow is another day, and you just, pick up where you left off. One thing you might want to do if you're concerned about all the subjects is think of a loop schedule, which is different from a block. I guess I should do a video on block versus loop. In the meantime, Pam Barnhill, she has a really great, she's got a YouTube, I think she has a YouTube channel, but her website, Pam Barnhill, is really informative. But if you want to do a loop, that's where you take, a loop is good when you have a lot of subjects. So you have, say there are 8 subjects you want to teach. You got reading, writing, math, science, history, grammar, spelling, logic. Okay, 8. So you start with the first one, and say you want to be done with your day at 1 o'clock, or you only want to homeschool for 6 hours, or you want to devote 45 minutes per subject, whatever your choice is. So you start with the first subject. When that's done, go to the next one and the next one. But by the time you finish the third subject, you've reached that requirement that you had. Maybe it's 1 o'clock, or you did 45 minutes in each, but maybe you had big breaks in between, or something came up, or whatever. But however, that day got interrupted. Okay, so the next day you pick up with whatever that 4th subject was. You just keep going, and when you have your stopping point, no matter what determines the stopping point, but when you reach that stopping point, you're done, and then you pick up where you left off the next day. So it's a loop. Okay, you just loop through all those 8 subjects. Okay, and it'll take you longer to get through them, because if your loop is big, you're going through a big loop. But you're still touching on everything, and you're still going to get everything. And if you homeschool year-round, or if you do light schooling during the holidays or on the weekends, you're good. Okay, or just if you do a typical homeschool year, like a 9-month year, then you just carry on into the next school year where you are. You don't have to start brand new page 1 with the curriculum at the beginning of the homeschool year, and then at the next semester, and then the next year. There have been times where we're in the middle of a curriculum at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year, we still have like 5 chapters left, and that's totally fine. So don't feel you got to be in that box, okay? But definitely think of a loop schedule if you just got too many subjects and you just can't decide which ones to cut, okay? Let's see. I'm so behind with these comments. Let me see. I am so annoyed with this cracked phone. It's kind of hard to read some of your comments because I have this real big splatter of crackedness. Okay, wait. Okay, Tiffany. Okay, my first and second grader do history Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and science Tuesdays and Thursdays. My sixth grader does the same schedule, but he has extra history individual reading too. See, there's a way, there's a typical schedule that you could use, guys. We spend about 4 hours a day on a good day. On a non-focused day, we get to about 5 or 6. You just got a new fan. Oh, thank you, Essence. You are so personable. Thank you for sharing. Stay connected. Oh, well, thank you. My daughter is 8, and you have to address the question in a different way, or she would be clueless. Aren't you clueless too? I'm clueless. I'll go to a meeting, PTA, or a webinar, or just something that's for adults. And look, let me tell you. When my oldest was in kindergarten, public school, and I don't mean to be downing public school. We had a great experience in kindergarten and partially first grade. There are teachers who really give their all and really try. But we had an amazing kinder year and teacher. But I remember there were like 3 moms who volunteered, and we didn't know each other. And I remember the teacher, she came up to us and she was like, okay, so this is what you're going to do to help me out, blah, 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 blah. And she shotgun out like 5 steps for us to do. And then she walked off, and we were supposed to work with these kids with math. And already I saw the 2 moms with a deer in their eyes when it was math. And so they were trying to remember, okay, we're doing base 10 blocks in the cubes. What's a cube? And so, but they were too scared to go ask her what she meant. And because, we didn't want to seem like we didn't know, but we were totally clueless. So I was like, I'm not going to get punked by these little kids looking at me like I don't know what's going on. So I was like, Miss Teacher, okay, can you rephrase that? Because I didn't get it. I'm honest. I'll say I don't know, and then you just need to adjust yourself to me because you're the teacher. But I was like, I was more afraid of those kids looking at me, and when kids know you don't know what you're doing. So I was like, I ain't gonna be having these little eyeballing kids, talking about me. So anyway, yes. So rephrase for your kids. That encourages you to think differently. Okay. So you got to make sure you know your stuff so you can rephrase a question. A little sidebar there. But yeah, I remember those moms. I was looking at them and they were like so scared. And I was like, y'all just going to stand there? I ran that teacher down. I was like, you got to say that again. Okay. Let's see. What did you use to help your elementary child with writing skills? Child, I use so much stuff. Okay, with the first child, now see, my first child, he was so easy. Oh my gosh. He kind of set me up for a little bit of failure, truth be told. I'm looking at his picture over there. Because, like, for reading, he kind of taught himself to read. For math, he would sometimes correct me because he would be like faster than me with, doing his computations. And I would kind of play it off like, yeah, I just want to make sure you know when the answer is wrong. Duh. So with writing, we did Brave Writer. He was in second grade. And then my son had already been diagnosed with autism, but at that time we had like 20 plus hours of therapy. And then I had my youngest son in preschool, which was on the other side of town, and I had to volunteer there. So, and then I had to volunteer at my son's kindergarten class, the one with the teacher who was talking a mile a minute. My son had the same teacher. So, it was just too much because I wanted to do all of that, but I needed something where I can just get in and get it done. So after Brave Writer, I think I switched to, I did the IEW, Institutes for Excellence in Writing. I'm gonna have a review on that. It didn't go so well, but I personally liked it. My child hated it. So after that snafu, we went to, I want to say, Right Source. Child, it was so much. It was either Right Source or I don't remember. I got so much. Yeah, I have so much. And then I got these books. Oh, you know what? Let me do. I'm very due for a writing video because I have like out of all the curriculum I have the most math and then I have the most writing. I know I have at least 6 or 7 writing curricula videos. Okay. But I just was never happy with all of them. There was something that I either wanted to add or take away. I fell in love with the 6 traits of writing, but that's a supplement. But that made it click for my child. And I did a lot of TPT downloads, and that helped get, you know, my oldest son through. And then I did 2 more different ones. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I know we did Right Source. Foursquare. Oh, with my middle son, we did Foursquare. Okay, so the reason why I chose Foursquare, and it's brilliant. I love it. Because, you know, just when you're a child on the spectrum, for some children on the spectrum, you're very logical and, you know, you kind of need information that fits neatly. So with Foursquare, it's just a square. So you don't need anything fancy, right? Come on, light. Okay, you don't need anything fancy. So you start here, and then certain things you put in each box, and then, you know, you wrap it up. But it helps to compartmentalize everything. So you're not looking at some big blob abstract thing known as writing. You have manageable chunks, and you know what those chunks are, and then you just put it down, and then you put it all together, and then you write it, and bam. So Foursquare method, they have an elementary version, and then they like K3, and then they have 4 through 6. I have both, and they also have it on a disc. I never used the disc. Actually, I have 2 extra copies because I bought one, forgot I had it, and I might do some giveaways. Like, if you guys wouldn't mind getting used, but like nicely used stuff, I would do that. I would give away some of that stuff. But for writing for your youngest starting out, because writing can be so traumatic for a lot of kids, that's a great way to start, the Foursquare. Okay, y'all. So how about next week? I'll bring all my writing curriculum or spelling and or grammar or whatever, and then I can just show you everything. And next week I'll have my streaming platform. I got rid of Ecamm. It was too complicated. I'm going to use StreamYard, and then I'll be able to show you the books, like really show the books instead of holding them up. Excuse me. And then I can you can see what they look like, and I can show you, how I used it, and, the pros, the cons, key features, all that kind of stuff, price. And then that way we can, find some stuff for you guys, because pretty soon you're going to be looking at curriculum for the next school year. All right, what do we got here? All right. Okay, I read that. Am I caught up? Beowulf, 6th grader. Okay. Oh, high school. Okay, see high school. How many people have high schoolers? Put a 1 in the chat. Now, my oldest one, he's in 8th grade. He's 14, but he's like a late birthday. So he started, well, actually I held him back in 4th grade, or 4th grade. But he started doing high school work in 6th grade. So technically he really is in high school. He's had a high school transcript since 6th grade. But if you have a high schooler, put a 1 in the chat, because I feel like the high school homeschoolers get short shrift. Everyone focuses on elementary. And okay, so hold on. I think I'm caught up. I mean, I'm not caught up, but I'm at my next question. Okay, I read that one. High school physics teacher said the biggest problem he sees in this generation of students compared to previous generations are 1, inability to interpret even basic information. 2, mental processing speed is slow. And Are you, TT, did you say WWE? Oh, Writing with Ease. Are you talking about a curriculum for someone? Okay, so yes. Okay, if you, hold on. If you want to talk about what the high school physics teacher said, let me tell you what this college professor from Stanford said, Joe Bowler, assistant. She should be a real full-time professor by now. Oh, she is. Professor of mathematics at Stanford. And she wrote this book. Now, she is under the tutelage. She was like a protege of Carol Dweck. Okay? And she does have a website called UYOU Cubed, CUBED.org or .com. Okay? She said what prompted her to write this. She got the biggest and brightest smart minds in her classroom. And when they couldn't figure out a proof, a problem, whatever, they crumbled. They had no intestinal fortitude. They had a fixed mindset. They couldn't do it. Smart, but in a box smart, not creative at all. And she said it was so bad. She had to write a doggone book about it because there were so many students all across the board. Women, men, poor, rich, public school, like top public school, regular public school. It didn't matter where they came from. It didn't matter the demographics. The kids couldn't figure it out, okay? They knew the stuff well enough to test well. They knew the subject well enough to get the 5s on the AP on the AP exams. But when they got to college, they were lost when they had to figure it out. So, I hear you with your high school physics. The basic information. My oldest son, was doing math competitions since 1st grade. So I would talk to the other moms and I would ear hustle. But I would talk to the other moms and I would ask them what were some of the biggest obstacles your child faced or what you saw. And when the moms who were honest was like, my son really still doesn't have division down. I'm like, your child consistently gets 5 questions right on his math Olympiad. Like they give you have like 5 questions you have to do or something like that. And I'm like, I'm amazed. She's like, yeah, but the ones he always misses, it's division. So it's just like things like that. Your kid is smart, and so you kind of gloss over things, or you feel like, oh, that was just a one-off thing. And a lot of times kids, they're weak and they do have some gaps. But because everything else is so bright and grand, it's overlooked. Just like in school, where you have the kids that talk the loudest and are smart, they get all the attention. And then the introverted kids or the kids who struggle a little bit, they kind of get overshadowed and just pushed with the wave, okay? It's either the kids who are super, super behind and struggling or have issues, or the kids who are super duper bright and loud and get the attention. And then those in the middle get, they're overshadowed. So it's I don't know where I was going with that, but I hope that makes sense. I don't know. Let me read these comments so I can recover from that. Let me see. High school physics. Okay. Please tell us about Writing and Rhetoric Book 4. Don't do it. I'm sorry, Classical Academic Press. Don't do Book 4. Let me tell you why. Why does everybody hate it so much? Can it be tweaked or must it be discarded? Girl, it must be thrown in the trash and lit on fire. I hate to talk about somebody's curriculum, and Michael Corpetitor, however you say his last name, he put a lot of effort into it. But for those of you who don't know, Writing and Rhetoric, published by Classical Academic Press, Writing and Rhetoric Book 4, which is the CREA, spelled CHERIA, CREA, is all about Proverbs, okay? And writing Proverbs, which I don't have a problem with per se. It's the whole book. And to me, there was no fundamental writing component that was being taught. When I say component, I mean, is it working on narrative skills? Is it working on persuasive skills? Is it working on your tone, your voice? What writing skill is it working on? And I really didn't see any of that except for amplification, summary, which they cover in all their books, really. But it was, and I don't know, maybe it's writing and rhetoric is not secular, but I'm a secular homeschooler, so it makes little references to Christianity, but nothing that would be really, I feel, would be really bothersome, because they talk about fables and parables and things like that. So to me, I find holy books from all religions history, okay, and we can learn from that. But there's so many proverbs. I think if you are a Christian based homeschool and you want your children to learn proverbs and really have a deeper understanding, you and just to be writing copy work, just writing and making up your own, that might appeal to you. But I wanted some more skill set with the writing, and it just wasn't there. So when we do another live, and whether we talk about writing or grammar or whatever, I'll bring all the curricula that I have, and I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll show you how it compares to book 3, which is narrative 2, and book 5, which is refutation and confirmation, basically persuasive writing. And you'll see that Proverbs just doesn't fit in the scheme of all of the books in this series, which there are 12. Okay, so you've been warned. I don't know if anyone who is liked for, even those with a Christian household, I feel like you're stagnating if you use that book for a semester. Some people might use it for a year, but if you use it for a semester, I think you can do better with your time, is what I'm saying. Alrighty, let's see. Oh, I hate this phone, all this scrolling. Okay, I'm a new subscriber. It's probably obvious. But have you done a video on 10 things all homeschools need that will stand the test of time? No, but that's a great subject. Y'all know the first thing I'm going to say. Get a growth mindset. I do have an old video on growth mindset. That's top 10 things homeschoolers need. Yeah. No, actually, I think I do. No, I do. Oh, I think I did 10 popular things I don't do. No, I think at the beginning of January, the beginning of the year, I think I said, y'all watch my videos. I think I said something. Go to my my homepage. I think I have something, my first video of the year. I think I talk about something about the homeschoolers. I'll try to pull it up. But yeah, I think I talked about that. But if not, I'll go look. If I don't see it, then I'll make one. You guys are giving me lots of video ideas. I love it. All right, next question or comment. I think writing with ease is good through level 3. Then move to writing and rhetoric or IEW, depending on what style you want. For middle school, I am hearing Lost Tools of Writing is excellent. You know what? Oh my goodness. I have the Lost Tools of Writing. Actually, I have flashcards. I don't know where the book is. I do have, I think it's the small book. Or no, that's Logic of English. Scratch that. I got so much. I have the Logic of English curriculum. But I did use, oh no, that was what my oldest used after Brave Writer, because I was learning my homeschool approaches and the books out there. And so I had stumbled on Susan Wise's The Well-Trained Mind, and she recommends her curriculum, which is writing with ease, and then it goes into writing with WWS, writing with skill. And I actually like the concept. You do a lot of copy work, dictation, which I really like, which is in writing and rhetoric, the writing program. The only thing I think I didn't want, because I did have the book. I had the first one. I think the reason why I switched was I was reading down the line that, oh, I don't remember, but if you go to the Well-Trained Mind forum, there's probably 2,000 discussions on that. But I didn't really like writing with skill. So I didn't want to go from writing with ease, and then my child has that kind of background in writing, and then I didn't know what else I was going to use. I didn't hear a lot of good things about writing with skill, and I don't know why. But remember, this was early on in my homeschool journey. So I have a totally different perspective now on curricula, because I know my children better. I know myself better. And now I know how to look at curriculum and see what I can get out of it. So I'm not so harsh on curriculum now, except for book 4 with Kreia, writing and rhetoric. But I'm more understanding of curriculum now. So I might still have writing with ease. I need to see. I went through a purge where I just got rid of so many homeschool books because it was just too much. And then I ended up repurchasing them, which was stupid on my part. All right, let's see here. I'm sorry, guys. I will not live stream on this phone. I'm scrolling through all the comments. Okay. IEW is great for 3rd and above. For younger, I use, yes, jot it down. That's what I have for my, for actually my youngest one before I switched them to writing and rhetoric. But I like jot it down because you had, the first one was like about me. And then you had, it was like 8 or 9 different like little, writing components for the year. Jot it down was really, really nice. I would highly recommend that. My daughter uses, my daughter is in 2nd grade. We use Bob Jones, BJU, but I feel she needs more writing skills. So she's in 2nd grade. So love for all. You got a lot of recommendations for writing. I guess maybe next week it should be focused on, the live should be focused on writing, because writing is the one thing, man, your child could really be turned off. A lot of kids don't like writing or math, but definitely writing, because it's so abstract. And how do you know if you're writing it, is it good, is it the best, is it just mediocre? Just like, how do you judge that? Let's see. But if you feel your child at 2nd grade, how many more writing skills? 2nd grade, your child is still doing a lot of processing. Just thinking about the ideas, and then oh my God, okay, mentor text. I got to do mentor text. For that grade level, shoot, even for older kids, mentor text. Writing is it shouldn't be, but it can be a complicated, very abstract process. And for children, being able to see it illustrated over and over in different story forms, here I go with the stories, is so key. No, the next live, I need to do mentor text for the younger kids. Also for the older kids, but definitely for the younger ones, because they're just being introduced to writing. But for for your 2nd grader, you don't need skills right now. All you want them to do is practice generating ideas and then taking those ideas and then writing it. And if they can't write, because maybe their writing skills aren't there yet, they dictate it to you, and then you write it down, and then you give it to your child, and now it becomes copy work. So you work on your child's penmanship or cursive if they're precocious and they're already doing cursive. They work on the penmanship, and they work on they're working on their actual writing. Okay, this is what I did with my youngest son when we went through our struggles. He didn't want to write. He didn't have the stamina. He didn't have the strength, and he didn't have the confidence. And so I would say, but you know what? You have lots of amazing ideas. So I'm going to be your typewriter, your tape recorder, and I'm going to be your Siri, and you tell me everything, and I'm going to write it out. And I would write it all out, and I would kind of like stumble and make mistakes so he can correct me. And I would like, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, shoot, I made a mistake. Wait, how do I spell that again? Okay, because I wanted him to see what writers go through. It's ugly, it's messy, it's all of this, right? So I would make sure I would do lots of erasing and then write, and just so he could see that I didn't write all nice and perfect in my perfect kindergarten handwriting, which I have. I wrote it messy, scratched out, all kinds of stuff. And then, so he saw, so when I start writing, because he's going to be erasing and copying, and he's going to have a capital letter in the middle of a word. I was like, well, I didn't do that, but I did it. I wrote it so he could see that it doesn't look clean and perfect the first time. So then he would copy it. He would copy half a sentence a day. And then he worked up to a full sentence a day. And then the next time it was a sentence and a half, and then a sentence, and then 2 sentences, and then a sentence and a half. And we just, like I said earlier about, incremental, because then their confidence gets up and they're like, really, this is easy. I can do more than a half. That's when you got them. And then they do more. Really? I don't think you can do all that. I don't know about all that. You might be trying to put on some big britches. Then they want a challenge. But by then you've been like, Jedi mind tricking them, and they just been doing less. They've been doing less than what they're capable of, really. And they just do a little bit more and a little bit more. And then you got them. And then you got them. All right, let me see. I don't know if I answered your question. I forgot what the question was. Okay, so my daughter is in 2nd grade. Okay, no, I read that one. All About Reading is for beginners. All About Reading is the level 1 is for beginners. Now, when I say beginners, you could be in kindergarten, 1st grade, 5th grade, 10th grade. It's beginner. When I taught English to Japanese students, they just graduated from high school. They were preparing. They needed to take their TOEFL to enter into college. But some of them were they're already in college, but their English was weak. All of my books that I use were like kindergarten picture books. Because when you're teaching concepts, especially to older people that already have blockage and a fixed mindset of things, because they've just been taught a certain way, you have to teach them from materials and resources that cut off all the fluff, the flowery stuff, the complexity, and you talk like you're in 1st grade. You know how people say, explain it to me like I'm a 5th grader? Like, no, explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner. And that's what I did. And my students, they beat everybody, all the other classes, because they wanted to pull all these college or high school language textbooks. I'm like, no, give me I can't even think of all the authors with all the picture books, but give me Doreen Cronin, give me the dinosaur people, give me those people, and I'm gonna teach them English through that. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was story based, so that helped them so much. So All About Reading, level 1. It is very, very basic, but if your child, put like this, if you were to grab a picture book, usually picture books are for younger kids, but if you were to grab a picture book that has maybe at most 1 sentence per page, have your child read that page. If your child struggles over any of those words, go to beginner. There's no shame in your game, because after a while, your child will pick it up and can finish like level 1 pretty quickly versus like a real kindergartner person. But yeah, start with the beginning. And also, guys, a lot of these writing curriculum programs, they will have like a placement test. I don't know how it works with writing. I think they just ask like what their writing level is, or phonics. I don't know, but I think All About Spelling has a placement. But I think in reality, their placement is go to level 1. But go on their website, which is All About Learning Press, or is it All About Learning Press? If you type in All About Reading, it'll take you to the website, and then you can look and see, okay? Let's see. Oh, I skipped some comments. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. We did Writing with Ease, BJU. Okay. I would like something supplemental. Love for All. Okay, I forgot. For Bob Jones. Oh, you want something supplemental? Oh, for supplemental, the 6 traits of writing. I'm going to do probably like 5 videos on that, because that is a phenomenal. That takes the abstractness of writing and it makes it concrete. So your child would know what organization is. Your child would know what ideals are, how to generate and brainstorm ideals. Your child would know what voice and style and conventions. They will know all of that. And then they will see examples of how it's used in a poor way, in a good way, in a great way. I love the 6 traits of writing. I forget who that's by. Ruth something. Let's see. But it's 6, it's actually 7 because the 7th one is the presentation. But it's known as the 6 traits of writing. That's a supplemental. It's for beginning readers, but there were placement tests on this site. Okay, they're talking about all about reading. I heard the lady who owned Analytical Grammar got sued and they blocked her from using it. Where did you find it? Ooh, I don't know about that. Give us the tea on that later on. My 9th grader has trouble he has trouble putting his thoughts on paper. That's why I like writing with rhetoric. I'm sorry. That's why I like the 6 traits of writing. Because guys, look. Wait, I had my laptop open for something. I was supposed to find a video for somebody. With the 6 traits of writing, well, actually, like I have a writing background. I have a journalism degree, but I have a writing background. And I worked for one of the largest publishing houses in New York City in the Flatiron building as an account executive. Because I wanted to see what things were like because I actually wanted to be an author back in the day. But the hardest thing, that's why I like mentor texts that show the struggle of writing. The hardest part with almost all writers, even great writers, and they'll tell you that if you read their stories or their interviews, is number 1, generating ideals. And then how do you get that ideal on paper? And I have just a thing for that because with my middle son, oh yeah, it was a struggle. I messed up so many times. Oh my gosh. I mean, I got the notebooks where half the page is blank, like for pictures. And then the bottom part is like 4 lines, dotted lines. And oh my gosh, it was a journey trying to find something that fit him. But I saw the first stumbling block was he had a lot of ideas, but just writing it down was a jumbled mess. And then he would get frustrated just looking at it, but he didn't know that was okay. He didn't trust me in that it's okay to just get it out on paper. And then what do you do with this jumbled mess of thoughts, And so with the 6 traits of writing, they show you how to get those thoughts out your mind, how to put it on paper, and then how you take that spaghetti mess and turn it into something amazing. And another thing, I think the mentor books, I still have all of my mentor books that they go through that whole process. So they see what they're going through. They see others, and they're like really cool characters. They see other people going through that. And because we can't really explain it to them because it's kind of abstract. So for them to see a picture of it is good. And then the 6 traits, they like, it's shop talk. They really show you how to do it. So the abstract becomes really concrete. They have the songs. Oh my gosh. They have the songs for the 6 traits. Oh, we're doing a live on the 6 traits. I love it. I still use it. As a matter of fact, if you saw my homeschool room tour, you would see in the back, I have this white divider from Pure Importer or World Market, and on it I have a cork board, and I have all these little strips of paper with the acronyms on top for voice, which is like the 6 traits of writing. And every trait that they're working on, they would put what it is under that trait. Each segment of the trait they would put there because it's all concrete. So they're like, oh, that's what that means. Oh, it's like math or those subjects where 2 + 2 is 4, or A + B = C. There's, how math has those rules? Well, there are some rules in English that help get the foundation going. So it's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's called the 6 traits. Let me just type it in so y'all can see it real quickly. 6 traits of writing. Now, Even to this day, my kids use Evan Moore's 6 Traits of Writing. I would recommend starting with Evan Moore because Evan Moore does a phenomenal job of dividing the traits and explaining them. And then you have daily practice, just 1 page a day. So it looks like this. Hold on, let me make sure. Wait, it's showing my zip code and my real name. So let me not do that. I'll make a video. Ooh, that was close. But it looks like this. Okay, I think I'm cool. It looks like this. That's the Evan Moore book. And then these are the books for the younger set and the older set, or vice versa. And I have all these, and there are more books. But you don't need those 2 books to begin with. The Evan Moore is amazing. I love it. That will definitely help your child when it comes time to doing timed essays, because they'll be able to read that prompt, generate that ideal, and then accurately get that ideal on paper, and then segment that ideal or sequence all the ideals, the details and everything, add their voice, throw on their voice, their style, make sure the conventions are on point, which is your grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Boom. Turn it in and get that high score on that test or on that essay. We're not playing around. That's a good program. All right, what else? What else? Do you have glossy red toenails too? Oh, Tronald Dump. Is that my first troll? Actually, I have on glossy pink, and you're not going to see them because you probably have a foot fetish. And unless you pay me to see my feet, you're not going to see my feet. All right, weirdo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we get little trolls in here. Yeah, I don't care about trolls. I troll them back. I'm like, that's my mindset. All right, let's see what else. Hugs to my awesome friend. Hugs to you, Karen. Oh, is that my girl? What's up, baby? It's another homeschooler, a homeschool friend of mine. Yes, I would love to see the writing resources you use. So, guys, I'm going to put out this weekend a poll for, I guess we're doing Friday night hot topics again, but it's not going to be hot. Hot. So I'll do a poll. You guys decide what subjects you guys want to talk about. I'll bring all the curriculum and bring something to eat and drink, and we'll just go over all of them. And then I can just give my humble recommendations for who it might work for. But in the end, just try it out. Borrow it from a friend or get it cheap off eBay or something, and see if that works for you. Okay. Cindy at Our Journey Westward is an amazing resource for all ages, but she has high school as well. I think I've heard of Our Journey Westward. I think, do they do a lot of history timelines? Or I might be thinking of 5 in a Row or Our Father's Row. I don't know. I'm probably off topic with that, but I don't know. Okay. Alicia on Instagram has high school information as well, and she is super nice. Oh, you're talking about moms. Oh, moms that have high school students. Okay. So, Cindy at Our Journey Westward. So I guess that is her homeschool page. I'm just saying the name out so you guys can jot that down. And Alicia over at Alicia's. It says it has an S on the end. Over at Alicia's on Instagram. I hope I said that right. Oh yeah, Christy Clover. She's on Instagram. Christy Clover. She does the organization crates. I use that system that she came up with. Confessions of a Homeschooler. Her name escapes me right now. I used to follow her. She was the first homeschooler I started following like almost 10 years ago. I can't remember. What's her name, guys? Confession of a Homeschooler. She's got a lot of high school stuff. Sean, the homeschool guru. She's got some high schoolers. Erica from My Busy Bees and Me has high schoolers. And they all have channels. They all have YouTube channels. So My Busy Bees and Me's. Sean's more active on IG. There's a big pretty large homeschooler where she has a large following, and she's really cute too. She has a couple of high schoolers, I think. Y'all know who I'm talking about? I think she has long brown hair. Oh, Candace from Homeschool on the Hill has high schoolers, and she gives you like, some pretty good advice too. Not just on curriculum, but just navigating, those years, because her kids went from homeschool to public school, back to homeschool. So she's a really good source to go to. Maybe we should have a video where we talk about homeschool high schoolers. I mean, I can dress it up better than that, but we need to like get those resources, talk to them, pick their brains. You know, I see that as being a couple of interviews. Let's see. All right. Are my lips dry, y'all? Because y'all are all in my face because I have to read these comments on this cracked phone. Okay, let's see here. Jenny, okay, Jenny Fulbright, that is Geannie. That is another high school homeschooler. And, okay, we said Erica at My Busy Bees and Me. Okay, my high schooler wanted to go to George Washington Online High School. It's a cross between homeschool and regular school. She has classes Tuesdays through Thursdays. She loves it. She's in 9th grade honors. Oh, that's wonderful. Is it free? I know I looked at Stanford's online high school. Child, that school was like 30, and it's online only. It was like $30,000 a year. I'm like, do you know how much stock I could buy for my kid for 30 grand a year? And that's just for high school. I go to these little top prep schools that my husband went to down the street. And look, I'm not going to, let me just say, a lot of these people send their kids from kinder to 12th to these prep, really affluent private schools, spending $30,000-$40,000 a year for like 12 years. And then their child goes to community college after they graduate. So I've seen that a lot. So don't just think that these, you know, top schools or whatever, you know, they're a gateway into the Ivies or your public Ivies like Stanford or is UCLA like a public Ivy? I don't know if it's considered a public Ivy, but anyway, so it's so anyway, all that to say, is it free? Because if it's free, that's great because George Washington is a good school. George Washington is definitely a good school. Yes, Erica from Confessions of a Homeschooler. That is Erica. Thank you so much. Was that Black Queen that said that? Your high schooler? Oh, wait, your high schooler wanted to go. Wait, is she in it or she wants to go? Well, anyway, and let us know, give us some more details on that, because as kids get into high school, we want them to have more options. So something that is a homeschool and a regular high school and a regular school for high school, that's golden. It's also rare. So we need some breaking news on that, Black Queen genius. So that's your homework. So when we come back on the next live, give us some details. Yeah, you see, I took like 12 sticky notes, so I got my homework lined up. All right. My youngest is doing IEW structure and style writing course. Actually, I had my son try that, and I actually like that better. Is that the intensive one? Because I remember the title said intensive 1. I don't remember, but one of them was intensive. Hey, baby, come on in. You want to say hi? Come say hi. They saw your video on YouTube the other day. This is my oldest. Here. Oh, I
just wanted to give you him because he's cute. Look at him.
I know, but he stinks. He went and got his blood work today because he needs to get neutered because he keeps humping Duchess right here. Come here, baby. He keeps humping Duchess, and Duchess is like, will you please get off of me? Kind of like how y'all be sounding with your husband. Will you please get off of me? Duchess, oh, no, go ahead and take him because I'm not going to have any space to sit back, and you're going to be all over me. Come on, Dutch. Oh, don't wipe your eye boogers
Duchess,
on me.
Duchess.
That was a big eye booger. It's probably on my chin, but I love you. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. All right, take choose.
All right.
All right. Did you say hi to the peeps?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, just say hi as you walk out.
All right.
All right. Class is over?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Oh, do you want this?
Like an hour.
Oh, it went.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, baby. All right. So, close my door all the way.
Got it.
All right. So, all right. Where'd I go? I feel like an old lady. I can barely read this stuff. Okay, here we go. I'm catching up. Just knowing. Wait. Okay. IEW. Okay, next. What grade are your kids? Okay, so on the surface, I would say 4th, 6th, and 8th. But my oldest one, he does all high school stuff, so 9th through 12th. And then my middle son, for math, okay, so I'll say a range of 5th through 7th. So 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then for my youngest, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So we have a range depending on the subject that they are working on. So not too complicated, but if I were to put them in a regular school, they would be 4th, 6th, and 8th, because that's what they would be in. But we work at different grade levels. So if that answers your question. See, we're so complicated as homeschoolers. We're not in the box. Just knowing how important is inclusive history to you. I'm surprised you are using Story of the World. How is that working for you all? Okay, so here's the thing with history. And if you watch, I have 3 videos where I talk about history, but it's Black history. And when I say Black history, I'm talking about everything in the diaspora. I used Story of the World Ancients with my oldest son when we were first starting out. And because I'm going to do a quick little snapshot because I got some business here y'all don't need to see. But I got lots of books. Oops. I have about, 200 plus books. Most of them history books on that shelf. And then a whole bunch more downstairs, all around the house, on my nightstand, under my bed, everywhere. And so I know history pretty well. So when I choose a curriculum, like when I did history, I did Story of the World, left it, and then came back, Book Shark. And then in between, I just cobbled resources together on my own, which was really exhausting. So what I do, I look at the text before, and I look at what they're going to leave out, what they're going to over focus on. I look at the images, and I use that as a teaching point to my children. And it's been perfect. When we did Book Shark, American history, I already had one. Wait, I don't want to wipe off my eyebrow. I had one eyebrow up because I knew where it was going. But the books that they chose were actually quite good. But the main text, they had the pilgrims washing clothes and big dresses with the bustles and everything, and the ships coming up to the harbor. And I'm like, y'all know y'all were cannibals, barely alive, couldn't plant nothing, couldn't do nothing, and definitely didn't look like that. So we talked about that picture, and we juxtaposed that picture with the first colony in Roanoke and what happened to them. So history, they saw it, and then they saw how mistakes were made with history. So they saw that history, when told through the eyes of the conqueror, this is what it's going to look like. And then history told through the eyes of the people who it was happening to, this is what it looks like. And then how do you meet in between? So I used that as the first thing I said was, what's wrong with this picture? Oh, well, Mom, they really struggled because the natives had to help them out. They had to show them how to plant the vegetables and everything, and then they didn't want to do it, and then they would forget, and they kept going back to the indigenous people for help. And I'm like, okay, so in this picture, does it look like they had what does this picture look like? They're just doing laundry, they're smiling and happy and everything, and happy and everything. And in that picture, I'm like, how is that different from the reality of them having to keep going to the indigenous people to get food, and then the winter is coming, and they don't know how to keep warm, and they don't know how to keep the plants, the vegetables, they don't know how to harvest, they don't know how to plant, they don't know how to do anything. How can you not do that, but you can do all of this looking like, Queen Elizabeth? So we use that as a springboard for more conversation, because in the public school, I always had to do that. And I hated Black History Month because it always started with slavery, ended with Jim Crow or Martin Luther King. And, low battery. Oh, hold on. Just said low battery. I'm going to take my mic off, so hopefully the volume is good. Let me know if the volume is not good. I got to plug in my charger. We've been talking for a long time. So I already know it's going to be shenanigans with history. But my kids already have a very strong foundation in history. So So what I do, like for Story of the World, that was one of my hesitations for using it in the first place, was because they're leaving out a lot of information about a lot of other societies and time periods and civilizations that aren't European. So the little that they touch upon, like right now, we're using Story of the World, the Middle Ages. And right now we're on the Byzantium Empire. And it's just a small little, well, medieval, wait, are we on the medieval Indian Empire? No, we think we just finished that. So anyway, we're reading about the Byzantium Empire, and it's just a little bit in the book. But we've been studying the Byzantium Empire for almost 2 weeks now. We have these wonderful documentaries on YouTube. It's the series called The Fall of Civilizations. So anyway, and then I happen to have access or resources with Baba Kaba Hiawatha Coleman Kamini. I'm mixing up his old name and his new name. Dr. Runoko Rashidi. These are scholars that have told us and shown us and documented ancient classical African civilization, ancient classical Indian civilization, ancient classical, all the civilizations that get short shrift in the typical history book. So with Story of the World, what I liked was the activity guide, and I liked the map work. And we do the audiobook, so they listen to the stories, and then my sons already know. They pause something. Mom, how did that really go down? Mom, what do you think? And then they'll say, oh, wait, no, guys, stop. Mom's got to tell us about this. Because they know when something sounds suspect, and they know they need to get more information on it. So that's why history is everyone's favorite subject in the house, just because of that. We have lots of discussions with history. So for history, I don't know if I answered your question. You're not going to find a history curriculum that satisfies that, especially if, you are not European, if you are not of European descent. So you got to cobble together your other resources and use it either by itself or in conjunction with a spine, a main text, okay? And just make it work from there. Okay, let's see. They have growth mindset curriculum for kids. I did it every single morning with my kids during our first year of homeschooling. Yes, there is a seller on TPT. She has this amazing growth mindset packet. It's like 50, 60 pages. And you start off with a poem or a mantra. And with that, like, I didn't hit the ball today in baseball. That's okay. It goes through like the child's day. Like they didn't do well because they had baseball practice. They didn't do well in that. In class, they said the wrong answer and glued the wrong thing, but it's in a poem style. And then it was something else, but that's okay. So it gives you all these little extra affirmations, but the poems are pretty short. And then like the second page, you would trace the poem. Trace the words that you're saying, and it scaffolds up, it differentiates, depending on, the grade level. And then another page would cut out keywords from the poem, and then you would like put it in word order. And I loved it. I have so many resources on TPT, but a growth mindset for that young age is really ideal, because you start planting those seeds, and then when things start to rev up after third grade, they already have some tools to use to help them persevere over those challenges down the line. Let's see. I like the I passed up a lot, guys. Y'all slow down. Okay. What grade does she homeschool? You talking about me? Typically 4th, 6th, and 8th. That's on paper. All right, by the way, I looked for the Marva Collins movie on Amazon. Child, they were charging $45 for that. Girl, watch it for free on YouTube. Why are you trying to pay? It's on YouTube. I had to clutch my pearls. I had to wait until that comes out. No. It's free on YouTube. Y'all know I be giving y'all free resources. Don't get it free first. I'm like the rich. I want it for free. Yeah, you can watch Marva Collins. For those of you, I did a video on my top 6 teacher-inspired movies. She's on that list, and you can watch that one for free. It's just on YouTube. Okay, some stuff is so expensive. Yeah, you know what? I wonder if after that video, people went trying to buy it and then they jacked the price up, because that's crazy. See, how do you practice self-care as a homeschooler of multiple children and a wife? I appreciate anyone else's input as well. Now, y'all saw my video I put out yesterday with my kids, the day in the life, and how crazy. They're not always like that, but when they get together, when they're being taught together, they like to get into shenanigans, and I kind of encourage it because they actually like get more into the work. But look, I had time to do hair, put on makeup. I do that nails painted. It wasn't like a couple days ago, but I make it a point in the morning to focus on me. I don't care what's going on in the house, in the world. It's because for me, if I realize that I put time into myself first, I start my day off on the right foot, and I just feel different. If I have like a little, piece of jewelry on, or a little sparkly shirt, anything that makes you feel good, a nice robe. If you wear your robe all day in the house, get a nice little robe. I did a video on mom self-care. I did 2 of them. Sometimes it's just little things like, excuse me, I keep TMI. Sometimes it's just the little things, but I found finding the one thing that makes you feel really good about yourself, whether it's a perfume, a hairstyle, nail polish, a nice t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever your get down is, and wear that or do that all the time. And then saying no to things that are not priorities and not feeling guilty about that. That's a problem that we do have, especially as moms. I know I do have dads that watch, but especially for moms, we always want to say yes and conquer the world, save the world, but just saying no when it's gonna hurt, saying no to mama, saying no to your sister, your best friend, saying no and being firm about that. No wishy-washy, okay? Because then so when you say no to them, you're saying yes to yourself. And that's most important right now. So keep your cup full. Don't be unapologetic about that, and keep it moving. And then you can help them out when you're done with all the stuff you need to get done. But don't tell them that. Just pop up and do it if you have time after you've taken care of yourself first, okay? But for me, my looks make me, it may sound vain, I am a Southern lady. My looks make me feel good throughout the day. If I'm wearing, my bleached out, shirt and my holy jogging pants, which I still have and I still wear, I'm kind of in that mindset of bleach and holes. But when I put a little bit more effort, in a little mascara, a little gloss, that's it, then I feel good. Or if I just have my nails painted, when my nails are chipped and horrid, I feel bad because I'm teaching and I'm constantly looking at, nasty nails. So just find that one thing that you really like that makes you feel good. And if you have to wear that thing every day, you wear it every day. Mom, didn't you wear that pink shirt yesterday and last week and the week before? Yep, sure did. Okay, now turn to page 5. Let's see. What else? Let's see. No, not free. Oh, yes. A farmhouse full. Yeah, that's a larger YouTuber. I forget her name. She's cute too. She got a lot of videos. You should go check herself out. Check her site out. She's got a lot. I think she's a homesteader too. But yeah, if I'm not mistaking her for someone else, she dresses up. I don't know if that's just for the camera or if that's just what she does every day, but the hair, the makeup, all of that. Another one is oh, y'all know she just bought a farmhouse or a farm, not homeschool on, y'all know her. But anyway, she adopted a couple of kids, but she always, puts an effort into her stuff. But you know what? You don't have to always do that, because J. Morrell Stewart from Large Table Family, I think it's Large Table Family, she does a lot of those big cooking meals, prep meals. She'll put just a little bit of makeup on, most time not, but she just has this great personality, and she's just so happy. She got like 50 million kids, but she just kind of has that something that just makes her go, that gives her a glow. So just kind of find that vibe that just makes you you, and then just rock with that. You don't have to do the hair and the makeup and all that, but it does help. All right, let's see. Okay, we did Marva Collins, self-care, new subscriber. Oh, hi, Brandy. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Okay, Samantha says, Niki, you have a math manipulatives and science manipulatives. You have a math manipulatives and science manipulatives, but I didn't see a favorite overall video on your channel. I just did a search for you. So, okay. Yes, I do have a video on science manipulatives and math manipulatives, but I didn't see a favorite overall. Oh, no, I didn't do a favorite overall for math. I think the manipulatives for math was like K to third. No. The math one was like my top essential math manipulatives, not necessarily my favorite, but the ones that you really need. And I think I really started with the younger grades. And then the science, I don't even know how I did the science, but I guess I need to update that. And actually, I did write this down to do a video on that, because I have a manipulatives huge, like 12 cubby shelf. So I can take you through it. Math manipulatives. A lot of them I need to get rid of because my child has, all my kids, have outgrown them. You know, like clocks and money and, you know, stuff like that. I might need to have some more babies. I ain't, but okay, so Samantha, yeah, I wrote that down to put that on a list. Okay, I like the Critical Thinking Company for supplemental work. Girl, that stuff says supplemental, but it be work. It feels like the main thing. So for those of you who don't know, the Critical Thinking Company, my favorite company, they put out curriculum for gifted children and gifted programs. And you'll have things like beginning detectives, beginning math detectives. They have lots of like visual, what's the name of it? Visual discernment, but that's not what they call it. But a lot of visual, like spatial kind of workbooks, a lot of logic books. Oh, they have so much, and they have them for all disciplines. So the detective series, my kids really like that. We have the science, the math, and the reading. We have something on inferences, because that's really hard for all of my children, inferences. And yeah, so Critical Thinking Company, they have a lot of great resources, but you are going to have to put some time into it because it's some higher level thinking. But it's not bad though. Okay. Our journey westward does no sweat nature study. Oh, okay, cool. You have a very impressive background. You don't have video introducing yourself. History, values, experiences. Okay, let me break that down. Let me unpack that. You don't have video introducing yourself. Like personally, if you're talking about personally, I actually have 2 videos where I do like a mom tag and I talk about me. And I talk so much, I made a part 2. But that's old. That's a really old one when I had my old channel, California Homeschool Mom. But I have the videos on this channel, if that's what you're referring to. My history, my values, my experiences. Oh, okay, I get it now. I guess I should do maybe an updated get to know me. No, I do have a get to know me. I did it as Vlogtober 2 years ago, and that's my title, get to know me. And I'm sitting in front of this couch. I'm wearing a black top and my hair is straight. Yes, that was my first video. So I have 3 videos. So go back in my archives, get my views up, and watch that one. But I guess I'm due for one, or maybe I can do one like assumptions people make about me, because y'all be having them. All right, I think I'm catching up on the comments. Let me see. I'm lying. Oh, Lord, no. Please do a video on how homeschoolers can emulate private prep schools at home. Okay, look. You must have been in my diary. When I first started homeschooling, I said, I'm giving my babies a world-class education. I'm going to do what they do at Phillips, Exeter, and what all the top elite Eastern boarding schools. I was always referred to Eton, which I think is in England, but all of the Phillips, Exeters, you know, there's lots of Phillips in the top prep schools. So what I did years ago, I went to all of their websites. This was back when they were just throwing like curriculum on their websites and nothing was like password protected. And I looked at all the curriculum that they used, the books, the subjects that they taught. And oh my gosh, I copied so much. I did a top 15 prep schools in America, and I went through I went through all of them, but not all of them listed everything. They would just do like a little piecemeal. And then every now and then I would find a teacher who would go out on his or her own and have their own website for their class. And so I would like write down just mainly the resources that they were using. And my main takeaway from those top prep schools, that legacy prep schools, okay? They teach, first of all, the classrooms almost have nothing on the walls. 2, the expectations are really high, and because they're really high, they teach at like a first grade level. And what I mean by that, say they're teaching, like they'll teach spelling in like first grade, right? And they're teaching these higher level kind of concepts, but these kids are really, really like young. And so what they do, it's all hands on, like what they're doing. It's almost like Beast Academy. Like if you, for instance, my son's third grade book, it teaches concepts from 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 6th grade. And you're like, well, you're teaching 4 grade levels with one book. Well, it's kind of like how these schools are doing it. So they teach like the first grader concepts that are geared for elementary school, middle school, and high school, all at the same time, but to that first grader. But they break it down in a way to where it's very, very basic. If you want to know what I'm talking about, get Marva Collins. You need to watch that movie, because Marva Collins took elementary up until 8th graders, and she taught them how to read and recite Chaucer, Shakespeare, Henry David Thoreau, all the great British and American authors, because those works are kind of hard and dense, and it scares a lot of people away. She taught them how to read properly on their own. She taught how to interpret it. And she taught math, science, reading, all of that from those books. And when she had her kids tested, where she was forced to test her kids, they tested all of them almost at a 12th grade level, starting with the elementary kids all the way up to the 8th graders. And she did that in a year. So you think, how can you teach? And she had the kids that were learning issues, behavior problems, all the so-called X's she had with those kids, and she took them from 0 to 1,000 in 9 months. So you say, well, how was she able to do that? And she did what those elite prep schools did. They take those super complicated subjects and they just break it down so incrementally, and they do it in like situations. So like for Marva, she would take, for example, The Merchant of Venice, one of Shakespeare's plays, and they would dissect a section or a scenario or a scene, and the kids would be up at the board. The kindergartner would be doing like copy work, like one sentence of copy work. Another student would be doing the grammar of, what's going on in the text, and taking the text and doing the grammar for that. And then another student an older student, in this one scene, the merchants were exchanging goods or bartering or something like that. And that student was writing, she was doing a math problem that reflected what was going on in that scene with the trade that was going on. It was a nice, complicated little equation. So just one scene, she was able to get, math, grammar, and then the kindergarten, just like penmanship. But the child, the youngest one, was reading and comprehending this very complicated text because the teacher said, you can do it. That's the one thing with these elite schools. These kids come in already having a mindset that they can do it. They're smart. They have these expectations, and they rise to those expectations because they believe those expectations about themselves. And that's what Marva did. She was constantly touching them. You're great. You're wonderful. When the child would mumble through and stumble over Chaucer, she would grab their little chin. Speak up, baby. You're great. And that child would feel that because she was serious about it. And the child would just, her rhymes or her meters or the passages. So, what was your question? How do you teach? What was your question, girl? I forgot. I'd be going off on tangents. Hold on. I was going somewhere with that. How do you emulate private prep schools? So for prep schools, I found at one of the elitist prep schools that I was going to send my child to. Thank goodness I didn't, because it's a disaster now over there. But the curriculum they use was similar to what Marva Collins used. It's the same name. It was, oh, dang, I forgot the name. But anyway, they used it. And if you just Google the name of some of you guys who watched the movie and watched the YouTube videos, help me out. But they use the same program, although the Open Court is the name. Although Open Court changed throughout the years, so it's not anything like what Marva used, but I saw what they were doing because Open Court taught 93 English sounds, and to know all those sounds and to be able to manipulate them means you can read anything in the world. That's what they were doing we have 2 prep schools. They are Ivy feeders. Those kids, almost all those kids, go to Ivies or they go to the public Ivies. And you have a lot of film directors, a lot of companies that you guys buy like health products from. They're really huge. We call it the Hill. They send their kids there. It's you have a number of coaches, from professional sports teams that are over there because they want to be on the hill overlooking the beach on one side, the ocean on one side, and then LA on the other side. And these schools, when I looked at their curriculum, because I went to the school, I was all in their business. People were in the classroom talking and navigating with other people. I'm going through the bookshelves. I'm like, can I see what's on your teacher's desk? I want to know the gritty stuff. And I'm telling you, so with the Open Court that takes care of your ELA, and then for math, it is that mindset. It is this. It's giving your children these problems and spending the time working with them, being frustrated with the problem, and then doing it over and over again, because you're building the mindset. And then once you get the mindset, they'll just keep doing the problems and not give up. But that gets a little bit deeper. But to emulate a private school, you're just looking, girl, look, if you want to emulate private schools, go to the Critical Thinking Company and they should have a starter pack. They have so many resources. Find out what your child's strength is in first. Don't do the weakness. Do the strength, and then get a book on that, and then have them work through that. I would definitely get some logic books, some visual discrimination. So you're working how they perceive things, which is very, very key. I would go to the Critical Thinking Company. If you look at my child's reading list, my oldest one, when he was in 6th grade, he was already reading Animal Farm, all of George Orwell's stuff. What's the other one? Animal Farm, 1984. Okay, so my son has read he's read like over 30 classics since 5th grade. And those are books that you read in high school. Well, why wait till high school? I mean, kids can understand these concepts if you present it to them and you explain it to them. You can start at an earlier age. So what these private prep schools are doing, they're starting at an earlier age, and they're just spending more time going over it and helping your child break it down. Once they break it down, they take off. So you might spend a year covering maybe 3 things, but there are 3 hard things, and those 3 hard things open the door to everything else. That's how those kids can accelerate so fast. They get them early, and once they get the hard stuff, the thinking stuff out the way, then they can do everything else. So they can, be so advanced. That's a whole nother video, because I study them, and and that's why those private schools have, like 6, 7, 8 kids in the classroom, because the teacher spends time individually talking to each child and asking them questions. Some of those schools use the Socratic method at a very young, early age. And that's where, the teacher is just asking a question, and then you have to defend it. And, you can't fake knowing the information. You have to know it. So they spend that time so that child can reason and argue and persuade. They can do all of that at a really young age. But just start them young, or as early as you can, and just give them time to learn it and be dirty and messy and ugly with it. But that's the process. Just give them time, and then boom, then they take off and they just blow everyone out the field. Y'all still with me? This is a long live. Thank God it's not on my computer, because I would have run out of memory. Okay, let's see. Struggles. We did that one. Okay, history. Marva, we did that one. Caring for yourself. Manipulatives. Okay, journey. Please do. Okay, we did that one. Okay, George Washington School guarantees acceptance. Into George Washington University. Girl, that's a good deal, because GW is a good school. We also need a video on transcripts. Girl, I was just working on a transcript just yesterday for my oldest son. We also need, excuse me, we also need a video on transcripts that can get the kids into top schools. Do we need to hire a consultant to jazz up the transcript? I don't want to wind up like Lori Loughlin. I know, right? Gotta be legal. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Lori Loughlin from Family, whatever that show was, with Fred Sager, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she got, she cheated to get her child into USC, and it was a big scandal. The bigger scandal is, she didn't really get no jail time. That's the bigger scandal. So for transcripts, I'm new on this journey, in that although my son is, he should be done with high school, his 10th grade year. He's not like really in high school in my mind, because I still kind of want to keep him, as my baby. Because that's why in my mind, he's still 8th grade, although he's been taking high school classes, except for writing. But I forget her name, but it's called College Prep Genius. collegeprepgenius.com. She does a wonderful, I'm actually going to take her course. She does a wonderful webinar on preparing for college with transcripts and things like that. She talks a lot about the different kinds of transcripts, whether it's, a chronological one, a descriptive one, what have you. She goes over all of that. So one thing I would like to do is maybe, I don't know if this is possible, but kind of just like the high school moms, we kind of get together and share resources, because I'm going to start chronicling my journey with teaching high school and preparing, the high school transcripts and things like that. So yeah, there needs to be more moms talking, about that. There are some, there needs to be more. So more on that. I just don't feel I know enough. In my mind, I feel I know enough, but I don't feel comfortable sharing all that, because that's such an important time, and I want to make sure I know my stuff inside and out. So trust and believe, I already have my 4-year plan for my son. I have a 3-ring binder, and it's already filled up, but I just want more. I want more actual experience, like talking to admissions or counselors, or just whatever. I mean, I already did with the junior college, but that's a whole nother issue, especially here in California. All right, moving on. Homeschool must have music, a home library, and or easy access to a public library. I second that. I haven't really touched on music, I don't think. I do have music is very big in our house. And I have like 2 kinds. I have classical music, and then I have all my old school music. And we used, back in the day when I was only homeschooling 2 kids, we used to do a composer of the month. And I remember we started with Duke Ellington because my son was just learning how to play piano. So I wanted him to have a vision of all these pianists that were cool. So we did Duke Ellington. And then, yes, we did Prince because he is a phenomenal player, piano player. And I think we only did those 2. I forgot. But yes, music, because music, the arts period, is very neglected. That's a subject that's neglected in the homeschool community. We never really get to the arts, the paintings, the great works of art, whether it's painting, music, or some other kind of media. It's definitely is really important. And if I were walking the talk and being more brave, I would really start our school day with music. I am learning a lot about schooling. What would you advise for different learning skills and for multiple children? Muna. So you're learning a lot about schooling. Do you mean you're learning a lot about different schooling philosophies? So one thing you want to do if you're just starting out, what would you advise for different learning skills? Okay, so when you're just starting out, you want to do inventory on 2 things, well, 3 things. You want to do, because you're not going to know it just yet, and that's fine. The whole point is to get it down and then start trying to figure it out. You want to figure out what your teaching style is, and patience level. And 2, you want to figure out what your child's learning style is. And now, if you go online, you can Google like child's learning style test or teaching styles test. Okay. And basically what that is, like for students, are they a visual learner, auditory learner, kinesthetic learner, hands-on? Are they a multiple of those? There's actually like 9 learning styles. Music is one of them, actually. I should do a video on that because people just think visual, auditory, and hands-on. There's actually more. It's part of the multiple intelligences. I think Howard Gardner came up with that. Wait, what did I say? I was going to write down learning style. Wait, what did I say? I was going to write down learning styles. I was going to do a video on that. I'm writing that down, but I don't think that's what I said. Learning styles. Okay. So you want to figure out what you are, what your child is, and what you want to use. Okay. And when I say what you want to use, you need to figure out how much time you want to put into it. You want something that's teacher intensive or like low prep. Those are the main things, because those 3 main things will trip you up in your homeschool. If you are Charlotte Mason, and Charlotte Mason, I love Charlotte Mason. I've used Charlotte Mason. There's a lot, it could be teacher intensive because, it's a lot of hands-on, and, it's not going to be like, oh, we can get this done in 5 or 10 minutes because this is like a set page with a set number of problems or whatever. So say you're doing Charlotte Mason, and you have 3 kids. You're pregnant, you got a toddler or a baby, and they don't nap, and you got to homeschool these 3 kids, and maybe you work from home, and then you pick curriculum that is teacher intensive for all subjects. you ain't gonna make it. I'm being real. You gonna burn out in like 3 weeks flat, if not sooner. So if you know that your teaching style is, okay, I need to be able to have a script that comes with the curriculum so I can just kind of read it, get an idea, and know what to say to my child, because I'm gonna have one child over here tugging on me because, you know, they want some crackers, and then I'm gonna have another child over here, the toddler that's just walking, grabbing everything, and you know, I need to be able to just say it, and then the child can go do the work. Okay, you don't you're gonna want something like that versus something where you gotta watch a video. I'm talking about IEW. Watch a video, take notes, go grab the manipulatives, set everything up, and then 20 minutes later, you got to start the lesson. So when you learn what your teaching style is, which is not really your teaching style, but maybe you're the kind of teacher that you have to see, your patience level is one thing, and then you you're kind of fixed in how many different ways can you explain something. When you teach, does it need to be visual for you to understand it so you can teach it to your child, or do you need to teach hands-on? Like if you're a hands-on kind of person, you might prefer a curriculum that involves manipulatives, so it's easier for you to teach that to your child. Okay, or you might be the opposite of that, and maybe you're more auditory, so you like a curriculum that comes with audiobooks. That would be great for like science and history, because those a lot of times you can find curriculum that's with audiobooks, so your child, it's easy for you to ask questions and things like that, because you're you're not into a story, you just want to, it goes on and on. But you want to figure out what you are, and then how does your child learn. Your child, has to do things that are hands-on because he's fidgety, or that's how he learns, or they're visual, they're auditory. So if your child is an auditory learner but you're a kinesthetic teacher, you have to figure out how to bridge that difference. And then you have to look at the curriculum. Does the curriculum help us bridge the child's learning style with the teacher's teaching style? Does that curriculum, my head is the curriculum, does that curriculum help bridge that gap? Does it cover up the difference between this child's learning style and then the teacher's teaching style? You could have a curriculum that explodes that and makes it worse. So I hope I didn't make that complicated. Just know, when you're starting out, I would choose things that are low prep, that might have a script to it, that is open and go, okay? Open and go, so you don't have to spend a lot of time figuring out what they want, okay? And then while you're open and go, watch your child to see what they gravitate to, or what you feel what their strength is, what their learning style. So in the beginning, it's like a courtship. So just start watching your child, play an audio of something, do something visual, do something hands-on, and see what they prefer. They might prefer all of that. All of that is intel for you. And then watch yourself and see how you teach them. If you feel like you always have to write it down for them, okay. If you feel like you always have to like grab something to explain to them, you start getting an idea of what your teaching style is. And then after that, then go get curriculum. Do curriculum last. But when you start to get it, because I know you guys want to just buy curriculum, you kind of have a better idea of how to decide which curriculum is best for you. Because if you do a review of the curriculum, like Kathy Duffy, that's like she's the grandmama or the gold standard for reviews. Very, very comprehensive. She'll tell you if something is teacher intensive, low prep, if it's an ideal fit for certain learning styles or teaching styles. All right, I know that was long-winded. Sorry. All right. Okay. Her kids are in upper elementary and middle school. Okay. My children range from learning difficulty to a little prodigy. Yeah. And that's the thing when you have really different learning abilities. I had a child, Lord, he was just here. I have a 2E child. I have a child on the spectrum, and I have an advanced child in some things and not. and other things. So lots of different things at play. So you have to always just teach that child in front of you, although it is really easy to kind of just, well, this worked for child A, you know, you just got to try it out. Okay, I think I'm catching up. I also like lightning literature. Lightning literature. I've been meaning to get into this class. Online G3 teaches with lightning literature. I think they do 7 and lightning literature 8, or it could be 6 and 7, or 7 and 8. And I love the books that they use. They also have their own website, which is Hewlett Homeschooling, I think, but it's Hewlett, Hewlitt. They I love their book selection. I mean, it's a good start. And I actually have the book. The book came in not too long ago because I didn't get into the class. We had a scheduling issue, so I put my middle son in the horrible Middle Ages history class, just to kind of supplement what we're doing with our Middle Ages story of the world at home. But lightning literature is great. I love it. They have good book choices and a comprehensive workbook, questions, and projects. Yes, I love lightning literature. Let's see, Mrs. Smith, make time for yourself first. Oh, I think someone is answering about how to do self-care. Yes, make time for yourself. Exercise, shower, makeup, enjoy your health. I do like a beauty tea every morning. Well, hold on, let me finish this comment. Find a homeschool schedule that you can stick to that won't drain you. Yes, because in the beginning, you're just trying on a lot of different things to see what's going to work. And sometimes you can kind of get in the trap of getting too much information overload. And you're seeing a lot of successful people do a lot of different things successfully. And then you start trying to pull from here and from there. And then it doesn't look like the people who were successful. And then you just have a whole, gumbo mess of everything. And you're trying to figure out who you are within that mess. So in the morning, get yourself ready. I do a little beauty tea, just things to kind of, keep everything running smooth inside. And, I exercise, although not regularly because I hurt my knee. I have tendonitis in my knee. But I do meditate. And so just those little things that help set your day and it helps set you up for success. And then if you can find a tribe, doesn't have to be big. It could be online or in person, but find a tribe. And in that tribe, it would be great if you had homeschool moms at various different stages, the beginner, the veteran, and the post-veteran. I like the post-veterans because they have so much insight. They're like, oh man, if I had to do it all over again, I like getting that kind of advice, so almost like, the mom, she's older and she's helping the new mom and she's got all this wisdom because she sees things with different eyes, different viewpoint. So yes, so T gave you some good advice. Incorporate student-led curriculum and 1 or 2 teacher-intensive ones. Yeah, so T, do you have a channel? You should be up here spreading this wisdom. So T is giving you guys great feedback and advice for how to self-care and how to get started with homeschooling. These are some great steps to do. Student-led curriculum, okay? And the opposite of that would be teacher intensive, right? Student-led curriculum where your children can do things on their own, either without you, or you just give a little bit of prompt or a little bit of instruction, and then they can go do this on their own. And that's at every grade level. So if you can incorporate some of that, actually, that should be a video. I should have a list of teacher intensive stuff and student-led stuff. So when you're looking for them, you can see at a glance if this is going to work for you. You know that your baby is due in August and you're also remodeling your house. You're not going to pick 5 teacher intensive subjects. You might want 5 student-led subjects to get you through that first semester. So those are things that you want to know. You don't want to waste money. And you don't want to waste your time, right? All right, let's see. Yes. Oh, thank you, Angie, from This Gathered Nest. Yes, that's a homeschool mom. She has a lot of information to share. She has a really great YouTube channel. Is Angie the same lady where her followers called her out for buying patriot books that were disrespectful to people of color? Oh, I don't know. Is that, I didn't hear about that. Let me know. Yeah, sometimes, guys, I've been following these homeschool YouTubers over 10 years, and sometimes I follow their IG to kind of get more information on how they rock. And I stopped doing that because I'm usually disappointed. But all I know is that if there is something about them or curriculum that I don't rock with, if I see there's something, there's a little jewel in there that's going to benefit me, I'm gonna take that and then get the hell out, for real, and just keep it moving. I am that person that I take what works for us, and there you go. So that may be true. I don't know. I can't confirm that. But just be mindful of the people that you're watching on YouTube, even me. Just be mindful that not everyone is perfect, and some people have tendencies that might not be in alignment with yours. And decide, how much how much time you want to spend, giving that person your energy. Let's see. If that's the same lady, I'm not interested in any of her recommendations. Doesn't she have an adopted Black child? I don't know. I also like Build Your Own Library curriculum as a reading list, but not so much for their worksheets. I'm on their mailing list, Build Your Own Library. And I like that because I'm like, oh, library, books. But I just don't have enough bandwidth to deal with that. So if you guys want to make a video on that so I can be lazy and just watch and see what the gist of it is, let me know. Because I get their emails every week. Niki, that book you keep holding up sounds like AOPS to me. The book? Well, AOPS is a math book. The only two books I held up were these two, the mathematical mindset books. So who asked that question? T, you asked the book I keep holding up? Are you talking about the mathematical mindset? So this is, so Joe's just talking about how to encourage students, or just people in general, how actually it encourages parents, teachers, and students how to have a growth mindset with math. And she does a really great job of showing parents, especially, how they have a fixed mindset and how they put that fixed mindset on their children. And so their children, especially girls, they grew up believing they can't do math because their parents didn't think that they could do it, because they couldn't do it. So she breaks it down really well in here, how the things we say, oh, I can't do, oh, it's so hard, or I always struggle, I'm no good at math, or these kind of people are only good at math. She goes through all of that, and she shows how it's a fixed mindset, and how you can change the language so you can change your fixed mindset into a growth mindset. And so your children, especially girls, especially Black kids, brown kids, basically non-white kids who are told, they can't really do it, or they're not given the resources to do it. She's like, just take the reins into your own hands, and then show your kids that they can do it. So when a teacher in the classroom, like my teacher, tells them that, oh, this might be a little bit too much for you, you could be like, okay, we out of here. Okay. I also use Moving Beyond the Page as a reading list. However, their workbooks are too time consuming. Yes, that is why I left them. And I spent, I think, $800 on that big old package. I did the all in one, because I didn't know they had little smaller packages. Like you could just do Moving Beyond the Page, like science or history. See, that was one of my early mistakes, not just jumping on the bandwagon with everybody else. But I do like Moving Beyond the Page. For those of you who don't know, Moving Beyond the Page is an all-in-one curriculum, kind of like Bookshark. But then they have little pop-out modules where you can just take one subject out of the whole all-in-one package and just focus on that, which is what I did with Bookshark. I took out just the history. Even then, it was a lot of reading. It wasn't even the all-in-one. I just did the history component, and it was still like 4 books every month to read. And I'm like, these were long books. And I'm like, I got literature books I got to read. Let's see. I'm loving all of this. Taking notes. Oh, thank you, Miss E3. We love Squilt membership. Ooh, that's something new. I never heard of that. We love Squilt membership for music with our kiddos, and they love it. Chalk pastel on your, sorry, the text is where my screen is cracked. Chalk pastel on you're an artist is an awesome membership for art. Can I do a screenshot on here? Guys, I'm going to try a screenshot. I hope it doesn't hang up on you guys. Oh, cool. I can do a screenshot. All right. I got that screenshot from you, Samantha. I'm going to look that up. Squilt membership. And you are an artist. I'm going to check that out. It's a membership. Awesome membership. I'm going to check that out. Art of problem solving. Yes. T, I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking if Joe talks about AOPS in here? No, she doesn't. She just talks about the struggle that students have, whether they're bright or not living up to their potential. She talks about that here. But if y'all want to have a video discussion on AOPS, we can. It's a love-hate relationship with me. When my oldest, when he was in 5th grade, he did the pre-algebra class, the online class. And for the love of God, I don't know how I didn't know it was a chat-based class. Why? I mean, who teaches through a chat? Like all the typing. It was awful. And I'm like, for y'all to be so smart, this is so dumb. And I didn't know it. And I had already spent all that money on it. And so after the first semester, I'm like, forget this. We're just out of here. It was the first time I quit. I let my son quit because it was so detrimental to him because there were a lot of older kids. They had a little older chit chat talks and it was the chat. I was like, this is crazy. Now the Alchemist, which is like, not Alchemist, Alchemist, I think. You can go, it's kind of like animated. It's like the video version. You can get more learning, and that's free. But Beast Academy, when you're done with Beast Academy, your transition is into the art of problem solving, and that's Richard Ruzik. I don't know how you say his last name. That's he writes the books, and I just didn't like it. This is what would turn off kids who actually do love math, because the textbooks are horrible. If they did for pre-algebra and up for AOPS, if they did the books like they did for Beast Academy, I would be so in love with them. But they're still, to me, I think they're still a little behind the times with that. I guess they feel it has to look complicated and stuff. And I'm like, but your other stuff doesn't. And kids do just fine with that. So it's a love-hate. That's why I have my kid in something else, because I just couldn't deal with them. All right, I think I'm at the last comment. Okay. All right, dear. It's been great. I'm going to sleep now. Okay, yes, it is. I have no idea what time it is, but we've been on here. No way. We have not been on here 3 hours. Guys, what time is it? Because I can't see the time on my phone. We have not been on here that long. Hold on, let me turn it this way. Oh, my orientation is locked. Oh, wait, here's my laptop. Y'all had me up here. What time did I come on? 4:30? It's 7:30. Y'all had me on here for 3 hours. What? Somebody needs to buy me some dinner. I feel like I need to be compensated. I need some dinner and I need some more wine. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been real. I'm going to get out of here. But anyway, I hope this random impromptu live helped you guys out. I will put a post up probably Sunday to see what you guys want to talk about next week. And yeah, I like this. This was pretty cool. So I love all you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you guys next week. And I know I have my Singapore versus Beast Academy video coming out. I was supposed to drop it today, but since I was going live, I said I would just wait like 2 days so the algorithm could like process all of this, and then I can put the next one out. So that will probably come out Monday or Tuesday. All right, guys, love you. Bye-bye. Yes, AOPS, AOPS is a math publishing company, MSE3, and they published Beast Academy, which is 2nd grade to 5th grade, and then after that, the kids roll over into the Art of Problem Solving, which is basically pre-algebra and up. And it's like the most challenging math curriculum out there. The AOPS, they're the ones that started the math Olympiads, and so they turned it into a program to teach math as a curriculum. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. No more questions. Yes, 10:30 on the East Coast. Go get some sleep. Y'all got a winter storm or something. That Arctic vortex coming up. All right, guys, I'm out. Bye-bye.